Infinite projection room begins with the projection of Ultron's world destruction. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 376. Loki arrives belatedly. After killing Bemonston, Hickory, who was exhausted, this guy was a blue light, could not support his body. His legs softened, and he half knelt down, his chest heaving violently. Zoffy looked at Hickory, who had blown up Bemonston with his light skill, and squatted down with mixed feelings, and said to Hickory, "Hickory, I want to promote you to the Space Guard." Ah. Hickory was shocked. The Space Guard was an armed organization created by Ultra Father. Every member was very powerful. It was a great honor to be a member of this organization. But Hickory said hesitantly. He was worried that he was not strong enough. "There are many things you need to do," Zoffy said encouragingly. "Hickory, believe in yourself. You are a very good Ultraman," Zoffy said, and stretched out his palm to him. Hickory was deeply moved, stretched out his hand and shook it tightly with Zoffy, which meant that he agreed to join the Space Guard and become a formal member. "Thank you," Hickory said gratefully. Zoffy nodded, very pleased. With Hickory's joining, the strength of their guard team has been strengthened again. Let's go home," Zoffy said. The two were about to leave for home when suddenly a sharp bird cry sounded. Both of them were startled, and looking in the direction of the sound, they saw another huge Bemonston flying quickly over them, heading in the direction of the Earth. "Is there another one?" Hickory said worriedly. "That direction is the Earth." He wanted to catch up and kill this Bemonston as well. But Zoffy said very calmly, "It doesn't matter, Mebius is on the Earth." "But," Hickory still said worriedly. Zoffy stretched out his hand to interrupt him and said, "Trusting teammates is also one of the qualities that a Space Guard must possess." Hearing this, Hickory said no more. He decided to listen to Zoffy and choose to trust Mebius. On the King's planet, the King of Ultra saw Hickory and Zoffy returning to the Kingdom of Light side by side in a deep blue waterfall, and nodded with relief. "Hickory, this kid still didn't disappoint me." The King of Ultra seemed to see Hickory's restored heart, which was clearer than the sky of the King's planet, through his body. On Earth, guys faced Bemonston. Bemonston came to Earth with the comet fragments. The battle plan designated by Guys was to use polymer plaster to stick the mouth of Bemonston's abdomen, but this did not seem very reliable. As expected, the plan that was inherited from the Zat team failed. Bemonston's strength may not be able to defeat a scientist, but it is still very easy to bully a weakling. Even Marina was almost swallowed by Bemonston with her plane. Fortunately, Mebius rescued Marina, but even Mebius was not Bemonston's opponent. His light skills were completely defeated, and the Mebius rays he launched were swallowed by the feeding organs on Bemonston's stomach. In close combat, he was suppressed because the opponent's physical fitness was far superior to his own. After fighting for 2 minutes, the power timer on Mebius Ultraman's chest also issued a rapid alarm. Mebius didn't have much time to transform on Earth. It will definitely come in handy in the next battle. Mebius looked at the Mebius aura on his hand and remembered what Hickory said to him when he left the Earth. With a flash of light, the Knight's aura appeared on his wrist, perfectly merging with Mebius's own Mebius aura. In an instant, the powerful and unmatched energy filled his body again. Blue light emanated from the Knight's aura, and Ultraman Mebius transformed for the second time. Ultraman Mebius brave form. Golden lines were outlined and inlaid on Mebius' chest, and his aura also surged. He gathered strength and brushed it across his left wrist, and suddenly a lightsaber that was much more powerful than before was released. This is the combined lightsaber of the Mebius light sword and the Knight's blade. Long sword of light Mebius Knight light blade. Chew. Bemonston also felt the change in Mebius, and a sense of crisis inexplicably rose in his heart. He rushed over with a scream. Mebius jumped high into the sky and gathered all his energy on the Mebius Knight light sword. Suddenly, the lightsaber turned into an ultra-long lightsaber that was several hundred meters long. He slashed at Bemonston fiercely, and then slashed out a light trail in the shape of an infinity symbol. This is the ultimate move he obtained after the second transformation, the Overload lightsaber. After the slash, Mebius gracefully put away his sword and turned his back to Bimunston. After being slashed by the lightsaber, Bimunston stopped in place, with no breath left. The wound in the shape of the infinity symbol on his body was particularly eye-catching. Then he fell to the ground with a bang, and his body exploded violently, and he died completely. One sword kills instantly. Cat never looks back at the explosion. Legend of Light Chapter 4 Trial of the Brave End. Looking at the Bimunston on the screen, who fought with Mebius for a long time, and finally gained a new form with the help of the Knight's Breath given by Hikari, and Mebius's brave form defeated him. Everyone's understanding of Hikari's strength has once again changed. However, considering that it was Hikari's strength after he transformed into the Hunter Knight sword, it is not difficult to understand if you think about it carefully. Loki Odinson, mortal, your god is back again. Tony Stark, hey, the child who went home to find his mother is back. What, did you go cry to your mother? Loki Odinson, you damn mortal. Bruce Wayne, we heard there was a war there. How is it going? Although we can't provide physical support, we can still give you advice. Loki Odinson, humph. I'm the god of trickery, the legitimate king of Jotunheim. Why would I need the help of you mortals? Constantine, I don't know who came to the screening room to ask for help while cursing. Loki Odinson, what help? That's a break. Do you understand the halftime break? Exclamation mark. Constantine, I remember it very clearly. Someone could have asked me directly why Bruce Wayne hadn't come yet. Chapter 377 The Return of Light. Agwang, stop it, Loki. What's going on over there? Loki Odinson, humph. I was about to conquer the frost giants of Jotunheim, but my idiot brother insisted on messing things up. Loki briefly explained the situation in the barrage. Of the approximately 3,000 words, 2,000 of them were about how invincible he was, how smart he was, and how great he was. Avengers Tower. That's not right. Thor drank and looked at the barrage sent by Loki on the screen, and said, according to this time, the only ones who invaded Asgard should be the Dark Elves. Where did the Frost Giants and Fire Giants come from? It should be the difference in the world. Dr. Banner, who has the highest academic qualifications here, and has 7 doctoral degrees, explained to everyone. Parallel universes. I know this. Thor interrupted Banner directly. Parallel universes. I know a little about this. Then, Thor showed his knowledge that surprised everyone, and his theory about parallel universes was actually recognized by Banner. In the screening room, Peter encountered the resurrected alien beast, the two-headed rat, and transformed. Tony encountered a bat monster that looked like black slime, and Loki encountered the rebellion of the 9 realms. This is too coincidental. Actually, it's not a coincidence. Tony said, the alien beast has appeared in Peter's world for a long time, and Loki and his team have been restless. I also found the source of the mud. It was something in the military warehouse. The military is similar to S.H.I.E.L.D. in this regard. They like to make some weird things as collections, and put them in the warehouse, and then let us clean up the mess when problems arise. Is there a possibility that the screening room foresaw these things and gave us a vacation? Thanos, nothing big happened in my world. I'm now looking for a suitable planet to settle down. Logan, the same for me. Ace, there is no problem on our side, except that Eddie is about to end his term. Bruce Wayne, according to the timeline of the Legend of Light, Mebius went to Earth 25 years and 2 weeks after Eddie left Earth. Ace, yes, that child is now being trained by Taro. Legend of Light Chapter 5 The Return of Light on Air. Hikari returns to the Kingdom of Light, first recovering his condition, and then learns from Ultra Father that the Earth is facing a new crisis. After learning this news, Hikari wants to fight with Mebius, and Ultra Father agrees to let him go to Earth at his request. However, on the way to Earth, he received Mebius's Ultra signature. I'll wait for you on planet Abba, Mebius. Why is Mebius on planet Abba? After receiving this signature, Hikari was very confused. He didn't know why Mebius would appear on planet Abba, but out of trust in Mebius, he chose to believe this Ultra signature, so he changed direction and headed for planet Abba. Live room barrage. Bruce Wayne, no. There's something wrong with that signature. Bruce Wayne, from our perspective, we can draw a conclusion. Why did Mebius know about Abba? Even if he knew, why did Mebius, who was supposed to protect the Earth, suddenly appear in our bow? Ace, trust your companions. This is also the quality of the Space Guard. It seems that you have been used now. Ace, back then, my 4 brothers and I were tricked by the Yabo people to a planet using the same method. We were almost wiped out by the Yabo people. After arriving at Arbo, the entire planet was dead silent. There was no sign of life. It had completely lost its form of vitality and dreamlike beauty. Hikari squatted down, picked up a handful of dust, slowly opened his hands, and the dust fell with the wind. Looking at this dead planet, he sighed in his heart, and fell into deep thought. The once beautiful planet has been completely destroyed, and he has also walked on the edge of death. At this moment, everything has changed. Boom. At this moment, a powerful Mebius ray suddenly rushed towards him. Shikali had never thought that someone would attack him here, and he was completely unprepared. However, his rich combat experience saved him at this time. He instinctively twisted his body and avoided the ray attack. He stood up and looked at the person who attacked him, and suddenly found that the person who attacked him was Mebius. How could it be? Shikali was in disbelief. He didn't believe that Mebius would attack him anyway. Mebius didn't say a word and rushed up to attack Shikali directly. Moreover, his moves were fierce. Every move was aimed at the vital parts of Shikali. It was obvious that he was attacking him with the purpose of killing Shikali. Shikali passively counterattacked. At this time, he found that, although the Mebius in front of him looked exactly like Mebius, his aura was very different. You are not Mebius, who are you? Hikari asked loudly. The opponent was stunned for a moment and continued to attack fiercely. However, after Hikari knew that the opponent was not Mebius, he did not care about it and attacked with all his strength. After the two exchanged punches, they stepped back and looked at each other vigilantly. Then Hikari saw that the fake Mebius actually changed his appearance in front of him. It was him who was blinded by hatred before, that is, the Hunter Knight Sword born for revenge. Although he didn't know who the other party was, Hikari had confirmed that he had sent him a signature in the name of Mebius and lured him to the planet Abba, and the purpose was to kill him with a sudden attack. The other party obviously underestimated the fighting power of Hikari, a scientist. After being discovered by Hikari, he immediately transformed into the appearance of Hunter Knight Sword again and began a psychological offensive. As you can see, I'm you in the past. Hikari was unmoved. He didn't care what he turned into. As long as he knew that the other party was an enemy, the only thing he was worried about now was Ultraman Mebius. He shouted, "Where is Mebius? This ability to transform can even copy the abilities of others?" Magneto looked at the guy on the screen and said, "I know a girl who has a similar ability. She can turn into other people. Even her pupils can be simulated exactly the same, but it doesn't have the effect of copying other people's abilities." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 378 Blue Shadow. The Armor of the Hero. After hearing the explanation of the King of Ultra, he immediately recalled the prophecy that the consciousness of the planet Abba told him before. The new hero who fell from the sky, wearing the armor of light, merged with the earth of the planet Abba. Isn't this talking about him? At this moment, Hikari finally understood that he who put on the armor of the hero was the new hero in the prophecy. Okay, go, Hikari. Ultraman Hikari. Impossible. This is impossible. The Baba Star looked at all this in disbelief. He didn't understand why the Abba Star suddenly came back to life and even gave Hikari new power. This was simply unscientific. But after being shocked, he calmed down and rushed towards Hikari. What's wrong with putting on a layer of armor? Since I can kill him once, I can kill him a second time. Facing the confident GZZ Star, Hikari chose to persuade this guy. Hikari's sense of justice resonated with Abba's Earth. After obtaining the brave armor, Hikari's strength increased by leaps and bounds, enough to crush the Baba Star. As soon as they fought, he immediately pinned the Baba Star to the ground and beat him up. The Baba Star didn't believe it. He was obviously stronger just now. How could he suddenly become much stronger than himself? He punched Hickory's chest fiercely. Hickory stood still and didn't dodge at all. He took his punch hard, but Hickory didn't suffer a bit of damage. Instead, the Baba Star felt a strong recoil force on his fist, and several bones in his hand were broken. The Brave Armor not only has a high degree of defense, but can easily withstand the enemy's physical and energy attacks. Most importantly, the Brave Armor is the incarnation of Abba. Wearing the Brave Armor, Hickory can feel the warmth of Abba. Abba did not die, but changed away, to continue to be with him. This is the Brave Armor, a gift from Abba to himself, the courage and love that Abba brings to himself. Shine your light, Hickory. Hickory would not let him attack without taking action. This Brave Armor not only gave him strong defensive power, but also improved his fighting ability. Hickory punched him, and Baba wanted to dodge, but he found that the opponent's speed became very fast, and he couldn't even dodge it. When he saw Hickory punching, Hickory's fist had already hit Baba's chest again. Baba was hit, and the huge force made him fly out directly. Hickory continued to chase him, and kicked Baba again. After all, the Baba Star was barely a tough guy in the universe. He was still able to fight back after being hit hard. He got up and started to fight back, but his attack became slow in Hickory's eyes. Hickory could clearly see the root of his attack, easily blocked the opponent's attack, and still had the strength to fight back. In close combat, Hickory completely crushed the Baba Star, leaving him with no ability to fight back. The Baba Star was about to despair. He and Hickory pulled away and fired a light bullet attack, trying to rely on long-range attacks to reverse the decline, but Hickory completely understood the opponent's intentions and waved his hand. In fact, the knife directly knocked the opponent's light bullet away, without any effect. Seeing that Hickory actually knocked away his light bullet attack with his bare hands, this shocked the Baba Star even more. It was like a duel between two people. One of them suddenly fired a gun, and the other waved his hand to knock the bullet away. It was shocking. Hickory was no longer interested in continuing to fight with the Baba Star. He raised his right hand, shouted the name of the Baba Star, and quickly condensed a large amount of energy. Then the night ray burst out violently. This time, the night ray not only greatly shortened the time to condense energy, but also increased its power by several levels. And most importantly, this time the night ray did not even use the knight's breath. The night ray bombarded the Baba Star, and immediately injured him severely. The Baba Star fell to the ground with his chest covered, and could not even stand up. "It's all over, Baba Star," Hickory said coldly. The Baba Star stood up, while enduring the pain on his body, and cursed, "I will definitely wipe out this shame. Get ready. One day, I will destroy you and Mebius together." Ha 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 ha. He laughed arrogantly, as if he had already killed Hickory and Mebius. Hickory rushed over, and wanted to kill him. After all, keeping him alive would be a disaster, but the Baba Star threw a smoke bomb and disappeared. After Hickory rushed over, only a cloud of smoke remained, and the Baba Star had long disappeared. At this moment, Hickory suddenly heard the voice of Ultra Father. "Hickory. Captain?" In a golden light, Ultra Father, Zophi and Mother Ultra looked at Hickory on the screen. Ultra Father told Hickory, "The Baba Star is heading towards the Earth. Please go to the Earth immediately, and fight with Mebius as a member of the Space Guard." "Thank you, Captain." After hearing the words of Ultra Father, Hickory said gratefully, because this was the affirmation of Ultra Father, and he had become a formal member of the Space Guard. On the other side, after Baba escaped, he went directly to the Earth. After he arrived on Earth, he transformed into Hickory, and wreaked havoc on the Earth. He could easily destroy the tall buildings in the city with a punch or a kick, and countless people were displaced and homeless. Everyone looked at the blue Ultraman in front of them with disbelief, and hatred and fear appeared in their eyes. Wherever he went, it would cause panic, and even be surrounded by human armies. This is his purpose. He wanted the people on Earth to think that Hickory Ultraman was an invader, and that he had no place to stay on Earth. After Hickory arrived on Earth, he saw that Baba was transforming into his appearance, and wreaking havoc on the city. Many people died, which made Hickory very angry, and he immediately launched a fierce attack on Baba. The Baba was in the middle of destroying things, and when he saw Hickory chasing him, He let out a crazy laugh to provoke Hikaru. Hikaru could no longer bear it and immediately used the Knight's Beam. The Knight's Beam after evolution was very powerful. It was this move that injured the Barbar on the planet Abba. After the Barbar saw the powerful Knight's Beam, he didn't dare to take it head on and quickly dodged. The two real and fake Hikaru fought in the city, and the entire city was almost destroyed. Many people couldn't tell the real one from the fake one and regarded Hikaru as an invader and hated him to the extreme. Chapter 379 Resonance of Justice, Armor of the Brave. To be precise, the ability you are talking about should be simulation rather than replication. Tony, who has a certain degree of obsessive compulsive disorder, corrected Magneto's statement. You can't even figure out such basic terms. No wonder you turned Magneto into Magneto. Magneto endured Tony's ridicule with a dark face. The video continues. The Ultraman on Earth? He will also be killed by me. The attacker sneered. First, I will turn into your appearance and return to Earth, and then destroy humans to my heart's content. Ha ha ha. After listening to the other party's word-for-word explanation of his plan, Hikari asked back, so, the signature of Mebius that I just received was faked by you? Humph. The fake Knight saw on the attacker's wrist actually stretched out a Knight's lightsaber, but this Knight's lightsaber was different from Hikari's lightsaber. It was a sword of high-density light particles, and the color was lavender. After showing the lightsaber, the attacker immediately launched an attack, but Hikari easily dodged it by turning sideways. HMPH, you are no match for me without your armor. The attacker raised the Dark Knight's lightsaber composed of high-density light particles and said arrogantly, remember quickly, anger is the source of power, revenge is the driving force of power. He tried to disturb Hikaru's heart. As long as his heart was disturbed, his strength would inevitably drop significantly. At that time, he could easily defeat Hikaru, or even kill him. No, that's not real power. Hikaru was unmoved. Really? Then come and defeat me. The attacker pointed his lightsaber at Hikaru and said arrogantly, or do you want to admit defeat now and become my servant? I refuse. Hikaru said with a firm look, I have decided to protect irreplaceable creatures. HMM. Seeing that Hikaru was determined, and his words of persuasion had no effect, the attacker decisively gave up the idea of shaking the other party's will, and turned back into his true self. Black body and yellow hair. You are GZZ Starman. Ultraman Hikari immediately recognized the other party's identity. This kind of appearance is the legendary GZZ Starman, who is known as the ruler of the Dark Universe. He has long been targeting the Kingdom of Light, and is the enemy of their Kingdom of Light. In the past, the Kingdom of Light was stolen by the Baba Starman, and the Ultra Key was almost destroyed. No wonder he deliberately tricked himself to come to the Abba Star and attacked him. Now Hikari completely understood. I really hope I can get along with you, so I don't have to kill you. What a pity. Baba Starman sighed and said, then launched an attack. Baba Starman is good at fighting. He uses a chain in his left hand and the hidden blade in his right hand as weapons to fight. More importantly, he also has the ability to mimic transformation, and the similarity is extremely high. Even the perspective ability of the Ultra Brothers cannot distinguish its authenticity. It also has the ability to copy the skills of the transformed enemy. Hikari was not afraid at all. He cheered up and rushed over. The two of them fought each other. Both of them were very experienced in combat, punching and kicking. Each attack was the most fierce killing move. Hikari just fought with the opponent. He knew that this was the most powerful enemy he had ever encountered in his life. He used all his strength to fight with the opponent to a draw. Each of them won and lost. Then the Baba Star directly sprayed a large amount of low temperature cold air from his mouth, freezing the unprepared Hikari. The Baba Star had the upper hand and froze Hikari into an ice sculpture. He started to show off again and continued to bewitch him, saying, it was your long cherished wish to destroy the planet Abba that you were obsessed with in the past, along with this land. Oh, life is such a pity. Remember that damned bogger ruined all the revenge you had at that time. If you turn this anger into strength, you will become stronger. This is my last warning. Do you want to die here, or be my servant? I'm Ultraman. Although Hikari's body was frozen into an ice sculpture, his consciousness was still clear, and he was not bewitched by the words of the Baba Star. Really? Then you can die. The Baba Star said coldly. He was very optimistic about Hikaru's strength, so he said this to him, just to arouse the other party's resentment and revenge, so as to subdue the other party to become his subordinate. But now it seems that he has completely failed. He turned and left, leaving Hikari forever as an ice sculpture on this dead planet. Ultraman Hikari, who was frozen into an ice sculpture and was about to lose consciousness, suddenly heard a familiar voice. He regained consciousness. In a daze, Hikari saw the stars surrounding him in his consciousness space. They were the intelligent life of Arbostar. He seemed to have returned to the time when Arbostar had not been destroyed. At that time, he lived happily with the Arbostar people. Arbo, you still have to fight. Think about the happy time with us. At that time, your clear heart. The words of the Arbostar people echoed gently in his ears. He remembered, a clear heart, which was exactly what the King of Ultra told him when he gave him the aura of a knight. I remembered it. I remembered everything. Barbastar people were about to leave Arbostar, but suddenly he stopped with a thought. Looking back, he saw that countless huge crystal columns suddenly appeared on the originally dead Arbostar, emitting charming brilliance on the grey and dead Arbostar. The Barbar people looked at these crystal columns in disbelief. These were the intelligent life forms of the dead Arbostar. They were resurrected. Then an even more shocking scene occurred. They saw these resurrected intelligent life forms of the dead Arbostar emitting starlight like light, shining on Hikari, who was frozen into an ice sculpture. Under the illumination of this light, the layer of ice that had never melted for ages had large cracks. Hikari, who absorbed the power of these lights, shattered the ice layer that trapped him in the shining light and broke out of the ice. Then he completely merged with the power given to him by Arbostar. With a flash of light, a set of armor appeared on his body again. What is this armor? Hikari looked at this set of armor. It was exactly the same as the armor of vengeance he had obtained before, but it was different, because the armor of vengeance brought him the power of resentment. But now this armor is filled with pure power without any filth. This is completely different from the feeling when I put on the armor of vengeance. Ultraman Hikari. At this time, the voice of King Ultra suddenly appeared in Hikari's mind. He seemed to have traveled through the infinite universe and saw King Ultra on the King's planet. King Ultra saw everything that happened here just now. He is now standing on the King's planet and talking to Hikari. The land of Arbo resonates with your heart and gives you strength. That is not the armor of vengeance, but the armor of the brave. I'm an idiot. I posted the wrong chapter again. Chapter 380. The author who is addicted to novels and can't extricate himself and just wants to slack off is a scumbag. The video continues. Only the members of Guys could tell the real and fake Hikari apart immediately after seeing the battle between them, because they found the fake Knight's aura on the fake Hikari's wrist. The real Knight's aura had already been on Mebius' wrist, so how could there be another Knight's aura? It was precisely because of this flaw that the members of Guys and Mebius could tell the real and fake apart. The real and fake Hikari fought, and they were both very tired and had reached their limit. The Barbers were very cunning and took the first opportunity to escape. Hikari wanted to chase him, but had no energy left, so he could only change back to Captain Ceresor's appearance and accumulate strength. The members of Guys came over immediately and took Hikari back directly. At the headquarters, Captain Ceresor confessed to them that he was the human body of Ultraman Hikari. Some people had known this for a long time, so they were very calm, but some people were very shocked. Hikari not only told them about his identity, but also about the Baba people, explaining to them that the guy who caused a lot of damage to the city was not him, but a frame up by the Baba people. Mireille and others believed him very much, but there was no evidence, so they could not release Hikari directly, but imprisoned him. Hikari did not resist, but cooperated very well in being imprisoned. He knew that, if he did not prove his innocence, he would lose the trust of the Earthlings, which would be fatal for him, and the blue people who might come to the Earth in the future. Hikari told Long, I can escape by myself, but if I escape, the Earthlings will no longer trust me, and will no longer trust the Blue Ultraman. If so, if the blue people come to the Earth in the future, it will definitely be very troublesome. I can't let other compatriots lose the trust of the Earthlings because of me. While being imprisoned, Ultraman Mebius met him in the light space and returned the Knight's aura that originally belonged to Hikari to him. because if Hikari wants to defeat the Barbers, he must have powerful weapons. Now is the time when Hikari needs the aura of a knight. Hikari was very moved by this, which was enough to show that Moebius trusted him very much. After a few days, Hikari was taking a nap and resting his mind. Suddenly, the doorway he was imprisoned opened. The leader of the guy's organization appeared and told Hikari that he was free. Hikari asked what happened. The fake Hikari appeared. With just this sentence, Hikari knew the reason. He was now imprisoned here, but another Hikari appeared outside. It was clear whether he was an enemy or a friend. Then Hikari and the guy's people went out together. This time they wanted to completely eliminate the fake Hikari, that is, the GZZ star. Soon they arrived at the scene in a fighter plane and saw that the fake Hikari was wreaking havoc in the city. High-rise buildings and urban facilities were all destroyed by the fake Hikari. Wherever he passed, it became a ruin. UGZZ. The fighter plane where Serizawa was flew over and attacked the Babastar. The Babastar didn't care about these attacks at all, but he saw the human body of Hikari, Captain Serizawa, in the fighter plane. Why? How come you are free again? The Babastar said with a look of shock, and there was a hint of fear in his voice. He fought with Hikari twice and was beaten to pieces every time. He was already scared of Hikari. As long as it wasn't Hikari, he was confident that no one on Earth could be his opponent. He turned into Hikari's appearance to destroy, just to frame Hikari and have him imprisoned. It was indeed successful before. After hearing the news that Hikari was imprisoned by humans, he was very happy and felt that he was invincible on Earth this time. That Hikari could only watch him destroy the Earth in the prison and was powerless. But who would have thought that Hikari would appear just after the second destruction, and he appeared with the human team, which meant that his frame-up had failed. The golden ridge on the night saw lit up again, and a ray of light fell from the sky, and Ultraman Hikari appeared on the Earth again. And this time, he appeared as a friend, as a person who could be trusted. The Babastar immediately prepared for battle, but unfortunately, he was no match for Hikari at all, and was beaten up by Hikari on the ground. Finally, the Babastar finally recognized the facts. In close combat, he was definitely no match for Hikari, so he found an opportunity to distance himself and immediately used the light skill to attack. However, Hikari easily dodged it. Who knew that the Babastar saw that the light attack could not hit Hikari, and he became timid and directly aimed at the fleeing humans. Humans did not have a body as strong as Ultraman. Once attacked by the Babastar, they would definitely be reduced to ashes, and nothing would be left. Seeing that the light was about to hit the crowd, Hikari didn't care about the danger, and flew over directly, blocking the light attack of the Babastar with his own body. The people who didn't have time to escape were all shocked. Some of them closed their eyes tightly in fear, but after waiting for a long time, the light attack did not fall on them. Instead, they heard a scream. They opened their eyes and saw that it was another Hikari who ignored his own safety and blocked the fatal attack for them. It turned out that this was the real Ultraman, the Ultraman who protected them. These people finally distinguished between the real and the fake, and distinguished between good and evil. Hikari was seriously injured by completely blocking this light attack. He couldn't even stand steadily and fell to the ground. He supported his body with his arms to prevent himself from collapsing. Seeing this, the Babastar was immediately happy and danced with joy. He didn't expect Hikari to be so stupid that he would withstand his light attack for a mere human. Isn't this courting death? But at this moment, a large number of lasers, rays, and shells bombarded the Babastar, making him stagger. This is Long driving a fighter to provide cover for Hikari. He shouted to Hikari, "Stand up, Captain Serizawa, you are Ultraman." "Yes, I am Ultraman. I found a novel only the Mahayana period has a counter-attack system also known as Kaishi's Happy Daily Life. It is very good. I have read it for 2 days and almost finished more than 300 chapters. After reading it, I will update it carefully and stop slacking off. I think except for the many idiotic reviews in the free area, the others are all good." Chapter 381 Baba, UGZZ. Die. GZZ. Yeah. Accompanied by Hikari's battle cry, the night blade flashed out of its sheath. Light blade shooting. The arrow-shaped shooting light bullets fired from the blade of the light blade directly hit the Barbastar, not only causing a lot of damage to him, but also the huge current carried on it even directly broke his mimicry. After the effect of the sine current ended, Barbar was beaten back to his original form. Look, the one over there is the fake one. When everyone saw the appearance of the Barbastar, they immediately pointed at him and shouted loudly, but he didn't care about the accusations of these humans at all. They were just some small bugs. Let them accuse, and wait until Hickory is dealt with, then deal with them. The Barbastar was no longer afraid at this time, because the light attack just now had caused a lot of damage to Hickory. His current power timer was emitting red light, which meant that the opponent had not much energy left. He would definitely not be his opponent. Then the two of them fought again. This time, it was exactly as Baba had thought. Even though Hickory took out the Nightlight sword, because the power in his body was exhausted, his speed and strength were seriously reduced. Hickory's lightsaber not only failed to hit Baba, but was even disarmed by Baba. He was also attacked by Baba's light bullet at close range, which knocked Hickory hundreds of meters away. It was so miserable. The Future, who had already rushed to the battlefield, was very anxious when he saw this. He was about to transform into Ultraman Mebius and fight side by side with Hickory. Seeing this, Hickory hurriedly stopped him and said, "Wait, I will end this battle." "But, if you are alone," the Future said worriedly, and the meaning was obvious. He was afraid that Hickory could not beat Baba alone. "I'm no longer alone," Hickory interrupted the Future. "You are not alone." After hearing this, the Future was very confused. What did this mean? At this time, Hickory looked up at the sky, with his right hand raised high into a claw, as if he wanted to grab something from the sky. At this time, a miracle happened. Suddenly, a dazzling silver-white glare appeared in the sky, and countless light crystals emitting starlight fell from the sky. Everyone was shocked when they saw it. Then these light crystals directly covered Hickory's body, forming a set of armor, the armor of the brave. "I put on the armor according to my own will," Long said with surprise. "This is a brand new sword." Future was also very shocked. Although the set of armor was exactly the same as the one Hickory wore when he first met him, Future could feel the difference between the two. The former was full of resentment, but this set of armor was not. Instead, it was surrounded by an extremely pure breath, just like the clear breath in Hickory's heart. After putting on the brave armor, Hickory's body was once again filled with strength, almost endless. His injuries had all recovered, and he reached his peak state. He made a fighting posture, and looked at the Barbastar. Seeing this, the Barbastar knew that this would definitely be a tough battle. If he fought with his bare hands, he would definitely be pressed to the ground, so he summoned a long-handled combat weapon. With this weapon, he once again had the confidence to win, and rushed up waving the weapon. The long-handled weapon hit Hickory's body heavily. Hickory did not dodge at all, and let the long-handled weapon hit the brave armor, making a sound of metal clashing. As a result, he did not suffer any damage, but the Barbastar's arm was numb from the recoil. He attacked again, not believing in evil. He had just hit it, but this time he changed to stabbing, so that the power was more concentrated, and the destructive power was stronger. He gathered all his strength, and stabbed Hickory's chest. In his opinion, even the hardest substance in the universe would be pierced by his stab, but his attack was blocked by the brave armor. Crack. This indestructible stab had no effect at all, just like before, not even leaving a white spot on the brave armor, which shows how hard the armor is. Then he attacked several times in a row, but they were easily blocked by the brave armor, or Hickory just slapped his weapon away. The strength of Hickory wearing the brave armor was too strong, and he simply crushed the Barbastar. Once Hickory counterattacked, the Barbastar retreated again and again. Finally, Hickory jumped high, his arm was like a knife, and he chopped down at the Barbastar like a giant axe. The Barbastar quickly blocked his weapon in front of him, trying to use the weapon to block Hickory's attack. Crack. The weapon in Baba's hand broke with a sound. His weapon was cut in half by Hickory's palm knife. The Barbastar looked at the broken weapon in his hand in disbelief, and was filled with shock and anger. He threw the weapon, and fired a light bullet at Hickory. Hickory did not dodge. The light bullet hit him, and made a violent explosion, but under the protection of the armor, he did not suffer any damage. "You will not succeed on this planet," Hikari raised one hand high, and huge energy condensed in his hand. Then a night ray bombarded the Barbuster, and instantly blasted him into slag. Great, it succeeded. Seeing that the Barbuster was finally killed, the guy's people jumped up and cheered, and those ordinary humans were also grateful and cheered loudly. Under the setting sun, at the gate of the guy's headquarters, the guy's team members reluctantly bid farewell to Hikari. We just became teammates, and now you're leaving again. The crisis is approaching the Earth, and the Barbers are just a vanguard. I'm going to investigate this matter. Hikari said. I'm counting on you, Ultraman Hikari. I sincerely thank you. Hikari looked at everyone with gratitude. If it weren't for their help and trust, there would be no Hikari now. Will you come back again? Everyone looked at Hikari reluctantly. Well, because the Earth is an irreplaceable planet to me. Thank you, Long. Hikari walked in front of Long and said. Captain Serizawa? Thanks to you, I became Ultraman. At this time, Hikari was also Captain Serizawa. Long nodded with relief. Then Hikari's eyes swept over everyone and said goodbye. Goodbye. The body turned into a blue light and left. Goodbye, my friend. See you later. I wish you good health. I will definitely come back. Legend of Light Chapter 5 The Return of Light. And I was successfully annoyed by a person who charged a Kidian coin just to shit in the book review area to disgust me. I have finished reading the book, so I can stop slacking off and write well tomorrow. Chapter 382, The Immortal Palace. It's over so soon. Yeah, it feels much faster than before. Watching Ultraman Hikari turning into a blue light and leaving the Earth on the screen, everyone felt that the live broadcast speed was a bit faster this time. Maybe it's because we went back once. Strange said, psychological effect. Huh. Next, it should be Easter eggs. Well, according to the habit of the screening room, Easter eggs are for sure. And Hikari on the screen also said that the Barbers were just the first soldiers. It seems that the mastermind has not appeared yet. Loki Odinson, I also think that there is a mastermind behind our affairs. Loki Odinson, just letting the Frost Giants and the Fire Giants, two races that are incompatible with ice and fire, attack Asgard together, even if it is only temporary, was easily resolved by this god. This is also a difficult thing. Loki Odinson, and there are also dark elves and stone giants. Most importantly, the opponent's space technology shocked me. Loki Odinson, he can easily open a space portal, teleport Surtur and his fire giants away, and also allow a large number of ice beasts and fire dragons to enter the city of Asgard directly. This is not something that ordinary people can do, not to mention that the space stone is still in Asgard. Without the space stone, he can open this level of space portal. I suspect that the other party is also a god. Loki Odinson. Moreover, Heimdall, the gatekeeper of Asgard, was directly turned into stone. Bruce Wayne, stone. Loki Odinson, yes, a stone sculpture. Excluding the situation where the other party kidnapped Heimdall without fighting with Heimdall, and then placed a lifelike stone sculpture in the same place. Then Heimdall was attacked by someone, and was turned into stone in an instant. Peter Parker, this reminds me of a Greek mythology movie I watched, in which the Gorgon Medusa. Loki Odinson, Gorgon? I have never heard of such creatures in the Nine Realms. Bruce Wayne, that thing is not in the same system as you, so it is possible that you have not heard of it. The Gorgons are three sisters, three terrifying female demons with fangs and poisonous snakes on their heads. The representative among them is the youngest Medusa, Bruce Wayne, and their most famous ability is that they can turn all creatures that see their eyes into stone. Diana Prince, in fact, there are not three Gorgons, but a serpent monster with sea monster bloodline, 3 heads and 3 eyes. It was killed by Athena, and later in various legends, it gradually evolved into the Gorgon sisters. Wanda, Sister Diana, you know it very well. Diana Prince, after all, I'm a staff member of the museum. Bruce Wayne, where is the body of Gorgon placed? Diana Prince, it was destroyed, and her head was taken away by the old gods, and its whereabouts have been unknown since then. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan, although it is not difficult for me to turn people into stone, this ability to turn people into stone by just looking at their eyes seems to be quite interesting. Peter Parker, Big Brother, can you not always say the most terrifying words in the calmest tone? Guang. I remember that there is a similar monster in our universe. It seems to be called Gorgon. It also has 3 heads. The single eye in the middle head has the ability to turn people into stone. Right square bracket 1. Diana Prince. There are legends of Gorgon in so many worlds. Bruce Wayne. No, maybe it's not that simple. In our world, there are many mythologies such as Greece, China, Nordic, Egypt, India, etc. If I guess correctly, there should be other worlds as well. Captain America. I asked Jarvis to collect some information, and then asked Thor. The specific stories are different, but generally speaking, they are still the same gods. For example, the Greek gods live on Mount Olympus, and there is no need to talk about Nordic mythology. Thor is still around. Peter Parker. My uncle and aunt often told me stories when I was a child. For a while, I especially liked to listen to mythological stories. And those stories may be very similar to those in your world. In my world, the Greek god king is Zeus, and the Norse god king is Thor. Odin is the wise man beside Thor, similar to the role of a prophet and priest. Guang. Ace. What about the Earth in our world? Ace, I don't know. Captain America. There are indeed some differences. In our world, whether it is mythology or reality, the god king is His Majesty Odin. However, Thor will inherit Odin's position as the god king in the future, so the myths and legends in your world are not without reason. Peter Parker. Then will there be gods in our world? That's right. Since Ultraman and Alien Beast have appeared, it is not impossible for gods to appear. Jonathan Osterman. Drive Manhattan. I have observed the entire universe. There are no gods in my world, at least in the areas I can observe. Through observing the timeline, I discovered the source of these myths and legends. Jonathan Osterman. Drive Manhattan. It is very different from the research of some modern scholars. The ancients did not understand various natural phenomena, so they developed primitive or, in the evolution of thousands of years, various myths were gradually born. Diana Prince. Is it that simple? Jonathan Osterman. Drive Manhattan. Yes, it seems to be just a coincidence, which is indeed possible, but other worlds also have the same or similar myths and legends, which is very interesting. Jonathan Osterman. Drive Manhattan. I created several timelines for experiments. Except for the one with human intervention, no myths were born. The other myths may be a little different, but they are generally the same, and even the origins are exactly the same. Mount Olympus still originated from Greece, Asgard still originated from Northern Europe, and the names of the mythological characters in it are the same. Thor is still the god of thunder, and he still has a hammer called Mjolnir. Jonathan Osterman. Drive Manhattan. This is under the condition of extreme interference. If it exceeds this interference, there will be no myths and legends. Tony Stark. Either it does not exist, or it is certain that it exists. Jonathan Osterman. Drive Manhattan. You can say that. Right square bracket. Chapter 383. King Ao, who loves to be a grandfather, and the sword that exists to protect. The boss's words always carry weight, and this boss is the top boss certified by the screening room, the god of the world. This phenomenon made everyone feel strange, and it also made Bruce question. If there are the same myths in 2 parallel universes, then it is understandable, because the parallel universe is the same world on different timelines. But it is a bit puzzling that the same myths are born in 2 completely different universes. Diana also fell into deep thought when she saw this scene. Her father is the king of the old gods, the god King Zeus. Putting aside the gods, Zeus, this old guy, doesn't seem to be a good thing. But these theories put forward by everyone in the screening room made Diana suspicious. Has Zeus's reputation been stinking in other worlds? In other words, why is Zeus in other universes also like this? Isn't there a normal Zeus? This phenomenon made Diana confused, and at the same time a little curious, wondering if there is also a Wonder Woman Diana in other universes. Next, play the Legend of Light related content. Tachi that exists for protection. Ultraman Mebius. I'm not surprised there's Ubius, but a katana that exists for protection? Protect. Tachi. Looking at the name, everyone was confused for a moment. The tachi is a traditional weapon of Japan. It was gradually modified, based on the knives brought back from the ancient Tang Empire by the Tang envoys. Zamsha's star-cutting Meru is a tachi. If I remember correctly, Zamsha said in the end that he has nothing to protect, but he will become stronger, become the strongest person in the universe, and then return to Earth to challenge Mebius and Hikaru. Strange said, I guess Itachi, that exists for protection may be the story of Zamsha finding the personal thing he wants to protect. If that's the case. At this time, the problem baby Peter suddenly asked a question. Although I have found my justice and the things I want to protect, do you think people must have something they want to protect? I feel that many people don't have anything to protect, and they don't have any goals, but they are also alive, and trying to survive. Kid, your questions are getting more and more sophisticated. Bruce Wayne smiled bitterly and said, but I think that those who work hard to live also have people they want to protect. My hometown, Gotham City. The people there are tough. Wayne found a word that was slightly closer to Gotham and said, the people at the bottom of the society don't live well, but they are also trying to live. Maybe for them, what they want to protect is themselves. Captain America, before I was injected with the serum, I was just a skinny, weak, and asthmatic boy, but I would still fight with them to protect the children from being bullied by the gangsters. I could fight with them for a whole day. Maybe it's because I went through the same thing when I was a child. At that time, I really wanted someone to protect me, but there was no one. So after I had a little strength, I tried my best to protect others. Captain America, a person's thoughts are related to his experience. I think those who don't seem to want to protect something should just lack an opportunity for them to become heroes. Guang, because you have been caught in the rain, you don't want others to get caught in the rain, so you choose to hold an umbrella for others? The sword that exists to protect is on air. In the wilderness of an alien planet, the wind blew across the earth, rolling up waves of sand and stones. It was night, and under the illumination of a few moons, a man in armor sat by a bonfire on the cracked earth. He carried a black scabbard on his back, motionless like a dead statue, only his bright red hair tied into a bun swayed in the wind. On the blue face, the blood-red single eye suddenly opened. Zamsha. Hikari looked at the man on the screen, and recalled the scene he saw in The Swordsman of the Universe. Guang, it's actually the story of Zamsha. After being defeated by Mebius, Zamsha said that he would become the strongest in the universe, and then defeat Mebius. Guang, but looking at the name, is this the story of Zamsha finding something he should protect? Exclamation mark. Ace, if that's the case, it couldn't be better. The video continues. What are you thinking about? An old voice sounded, and Zamsha suddenly woke up and drew his sword. In front of him, on the other side of the campfire, there appeared an old man in ragged clothes, with his face covered by a dirty and torn headscarf. When did you come? Zamsha held the broken blade, and felt that the weight of the star/pill in his hand was wrong. He instinctively looked at his beloved sword, and then remembered that his star/pill had been cut off by Mebius. I was there just now. Listening to the old man's words, Zamsha's hair stood up. Even if he was distracted before, he would never fail to notice the appearance of a living person. For him who has experienced countless life and death battles, it is no different from strolling along the bank of the forgotten river. Especially since the star/pill was broken, his combat effectiveness as a swordsman dropped drastically, and the old guy opposite was able to get close to him without him being able to detect it at all. Damn it, my former maybe the greatest swordsman in the universe don't have any face? Question mark? How did you do it? This is impossible. Zamsha held the broken blade in his hand and said, I didn't feel your breath at all. This is the saying that there are people beyond people, and there are heavens beyond heavens. The old man said with a smile, just like the two young people you met on Earth. Isn't this something on Earth? How do you know? Did the Vantan people say it again? Zamsha's mentality is about to explode. This old man is very bad. And how did the Vantan people know about what happened to me on Earth? Did the sword spread this matter? Seeing that Zamsha was caught in a brainstorm, in order to prevent the other party from thinking too much, the old man told Zamsha, there is nothing in this universe that I don't know. The Kingdom of Light universe, planet K76. Yeah. The King of Ultra looked at the old man on the screen with satisfaction and nodded. It's worthy of me. The screening room. I have a feeling that the old man should be the King of Ultra. Peter said this. Huh. Why? Besides my instinctive feeling, the King of Ultra fits the image of the grandfather in those novels. Grandfather image? Well, in some Eastern novels, when the protagonist encounters setbacks, a powerful master will appear to help the protagonist. They may be a remnant soul, or they may be seriously injured for some reason, but with the help of the protagonist, the final ending is good, and the protagonist also becomes stronger under the guidance of the other party. The current appearance of the King of Ultra almost completely fits the setting of the grandfather. Hikari pondered for a while and said, well, it's possible, but I think the King of Ultra is more of a pretense. There shouldn't be many people in our universe who can hurt him. Ace, well, maybe we can remove the word should. The video continues. Who are you? The old man said with a smile. It's just an old grandfather passing by. So, he stood up and took out a wooden sword. Old man, will you fight me? Zamsha suppressed his anger and asked, you just use that wooden sword? Old man, how? Zamsha, old bastard. Don't worry about your life. Unfortunately, my sword. Zamsha showed the broken star slashing pill to the old man and said, that's it. Let's go. You have to think about your life. Screening room. Magneto also said, if I was provoked like that, I would definitely kill the old man directly. How could I give him chances again and again? Thanos, I was a little surprised that Zamsha kept giving him chances. My first impression of Zamsha was that he was a person who could do anything to win, but his attitude and tolerance surprised me. Logan, indeed, this Zamsha is quite to my taste. He has been fighting, but he only swings his sword at the stronger ones, and will not kill innocent people. He is also tolerant of the provocations of the weak. At this time, Zamsha does not know that the old man in front of him is the legendary King of Ultra. He just regards the other party as an old man who does not know the height of the world. Logan, if it were my temper, I would probably go up and punch him twice. Loki Odinson, then you will probably be wiped out into molecules in an instant. Wanda, that's you, not King of Ultra. Besides, this kind of provocation, I think it should be to teach Zamsha. Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. If the King of Ultra really wants to do what the screening room said, then I can't understand the meaning of his doing all this. Agwang, it should be bored. Because he is too strong, it is not impossible that he can only provoke trouble all day long. Ace, don't make the king sound like the little gangsters on earth. Covering face and crying point. JPG Wanda, what is this? Ace, I just discovered a new function in the screening room. This is called Emoticon Pack. The video continues. The old man asked in a serious tone, as if he was narrating a story. You come to kill the old man? Zamsha got anxious, and he cursed. You asterisk asterisk asterisk. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Are you looking for death? I will kill you. Right now. This roar made the bonfire shake. The terrifying murderous aura that Zamsha had accumulated over the years actually formed an aura field, which caused the temperature around it to drop. The sword intent and murderous aura intertwined with each other, and there seemed to be endless resentment entangled in it. The old man looked at the angry Zamsha with interest and commented, it seems that you are motivated now. Now you are like a young man. It was not good to be so lifeless before. The old man raised the wooden sword. At this time, invisible pressure sprayed towards Zamsha, and a terrifying sense of oppression swept through Zamsha's heart, and the killing sword field that had been formed before collapsed instantly. Unlike the original irritability and helplessness, when the killing sword field was easily defeated by the old man in front of him, Zamsha felt a little excited. The bonfire shook more, and the figure of the old man was reflected in Zamsha's single eye. What kind of oppression is this? This old man is not an ordinary person. He held Zhang Hanwen's hand with force, revealing his sharp canine teeth, and whispered, interesting, you make me excited. Unlike the original dissatisfaction, Zamsha knew that the old man in front of him was definitely a master who could fight with him. Since he was an opponent of the same level, he had to treat him well. The old man looked at Yang Xingzhenwen and asked, can you use your best weapon, the broken sword? You're using a wooden sword. Even a broken blade is enough. Is that so? The old man nodded calmly, forming a clear contrast with the irritable Zamsha. The old man approached step by step and began to move sideways. The two confronted each other away from the campfire. Time passed and the campfire continued to burn. In such a tense environment, and under the terrifying oppression, Zamsha barely exhaled a heavy breath. Damn. There is no flaw at all. As a swordsman, how rich is Zamsha's combat experience in his mind? But after countless budget deductions, Zamsha discovered a very terrifying thing. That is, he could not find any flaws in the old man. What's the matter? The old man said to Zamsha with a smile. If you don't attack me, I will. Zamsha. As if to shake off his hesitation, Zamsha tightened his grip on the star-slashing pill and shouted, "Come." Zamsha rushed towards the old man and stabbed out the star-slashing pill. But, Zamsha looked at everything in front of him in disbelief. The old man used the front end of the wooden sword to stop the broken sword tip. Zamsha said in disbelief, "This is impossible." The old man easily deflected the star-slashing pill with the wooden sword, and then swung the wooden sword and hit Zamsha's chest hard. Zamsha was hit, and flew to the ground. He couldn't get up for a long time, and the broken star-slashing pill stabbed straight into the ground, symbolizing Zamsha's defeat. Zamsha, why? I lost. And I lost so thoroughly? The old man who came over pulled the star-chopping pill out of the ground and asked back, you know the reason for your defeat, right? A gust of wind passed, the bonfire swayed, and Zamsha fell into his own memories. That was the place where he broke his blade, the earth. Is it because he lost the star-chopping pill? Nonsense. Of course not. No matter how sharp the star-chopping pill is, it is just a long sword. If it is not in his hand, only in his hand, will it be the sword of the universe's swordsman? Exclamation mark. The star-chopping pill is strong because of him, not because I'm strong, because of the star-chopping pill. Thanos nodded. He found that in different universes, he could always find heroes. Among them, there are always people who make him look at them with new eyes or even admire them sincerely. Ace, he can clearly realize that weapons are powerful because of people, not people because of weapons. If Zamsha can find his goal, he should be able to fight us Ultra Brothers to a draw, unless it is a life and death battle. This is an official short story. Since the author does not understand Japanese and the information is scarce, you can just make do with it. I have already purified it once. Zamsha is really full of foul language in the original work. Chapter 384 Crazy Ideas. At this moment, it is difficult to tell whether Ace is praising others or himself. However, Zamsha's strength is obvious to all. No one in the screening room dares to say that they can definitely beat Zamsha. If the live broadcast room is included, there will be a Dr. Manhattan. Loki Odinson, do you think that constantly pursuing powerful strength as a life goal can be considered as having a clear heart? Thanos, of course, constantly pursuing powerful strength, as long as your heart is firm enough, then of course it is possible. There are people who are better than you. Even if you become the strongest in this universe, there are more universes waiting for you to explore, and there are more powerful people waiting for you to challenge. It is completely fine to constantly pursue powerful strength as a life goal. Ace, there is no high or low in life goals. As long as you are willing to work hard for the goal, you are great. Guang, yes, but if someone takes the destruction of all living beings in the universe as his life goal, such as Infinite Ultron, then we will definitely destroy it completely. Hikari keenly sensed that Loki might have something else to say, and immediately helped Ace fill in the gaps in his words. The video continues. The broken star-chopping pill was taken away by the old man, and Zamsha did not stop him, as it was the spoils of the winner. The next day, under the falling waterfall, Zamsha, sitting on a rock, was meditating. Suddenly, Zamsha opened his eyes, and his scarlet single eye looked at a rock. In front of his sight, there was a wooden sword at the front of the rock that was protruding from his sleep. Zamsha sensed something, and he raised his head. The smell of battle? Above the cliff, a little man who looked no different from a human, wearing JK, was being chased by the Achlia people. The little man was wearing a suit jacket that didn't match the situation, and his body was wounded all over. Are you annoying? It's all because of you. My friends are gone. The Atelian roared. What's the matter? I won't feel at ease unless I kill you. Zamsha muttered after hearing the voice. Is this voice the Emperor's messenger? The two cast their eyes on Zamsha. When the little man saw Zamsha's huge figure, the eyes that didn't look like a good person, the sharp fangs, and the long flowing blood red hair, his face turned pale. Zamsha, I'm not here to see you today. Please don't interfere in this matter. You're angry at all these children. What happened? Because of these people's pranks, the war can't be put to an end. War? Well, our Atelia. The Atelian looked at the little man with a sharp gaze. This group of telekinetic people. Little Starman, what are you talking about? If it comes to bellicosity, I won't lose even to the Atelia people. You guys who will die if you don't fight can't end the war, right? Thank me quickly. Atelia people, shut up. I destroyed our sun. I agreed to exchange the destruction of Atelia and Mistra for a position in the Emperor's army. Zamsha reacted to the term position in the Emperor's army. Emperor. The only ones who dare to use this term in the universe nowadays, except for some ignorant guys, such as Baba and his group of idiots, are the extremely terrifying existence. Zamsha transformed a part of his body into a great sword, with the tip pointing at the tip of the telekinetic Starman's nose. Seeing this, the telekinetic Starman turned pale, but was not very scared. Instead, he muttered and complained, "Really? I don't want to be tired anymore." Crack. There was a red light in his eyes. In an instant, behind the Atria, the ground blew up dirt and sand, as if it had exploded, accompanied by a fierce roar. Angrus appeared. Zamsha was a little surprised. He had been on this planet for a long time, but he didn't expect that there were such creatures. Angrus rushed towards the Australian. The surface of his body was cut by the sword, and something like a piece of soil broke and fell down. Zamsha immediately understood and turned his eyes to the telekinetic alien. Interesting, you can actually use the weird skill of molding clay to create life. Angrus used the horns behind him to jump and attack, but was cut in two by the Atria sword, and then turned into dirt and sand. Useless resistance. But when he turned around, the telekinetic alien was gone. The Atria smacked his lips. TSK, did he escape? Zamsha looked at the Atelia people who were about to chase and kill each other, called out to them, and asked a question. Is this valuable? What do you mean? Is the position in the Emperor's army so valuable? For this, you even destroyed 2 planets including your home planet. Of course, because I can escape from the days of repeated quagmire like wars of attrition every day. Zamsha kept seeing something, as if he was trapped in a quagmire. He asked, even though it is not only the enemies who are sacrificed, but also the compatriots, is it necessary to do so? What about that kind of thing has nothing to do with me? With a loud bang, like a bolt from the blue, Zamsha suddenly recalled that day. The silver shark cannon is an equipment to protect the earth. Please, go somewhere else to fight. What this place becomes, has nothing to do with me. Isn't this who I used to be? Looking at Zamsha who was standing there in a daze, the Atelia star made a slightly surprised expression. In his inherent impression, the legendary swordsman who dared to swing his sword at anyone would not show such an expression. Could it be, because his sword was gone? My wish is to join the Emperor's army, and annihilate the enemy with overwhelming force. The Atelias turned around and left. That guy, is simply it's just another me. Zamsha stood there blankly, without any breath. This is also one of Zamsha's skills. When he is thinking, he can make himself almost like a dead person. Woo. Zamsha looked in the direction of the sound, and the sand shook. Is it transparent? Zamsha looked at the figure of the fallen psychic buried in the sand and emerged. Zamsha wanted to turn around and leave, but stopped. He turned around and came to the psychic, bent his knees, and shoveled it up with one hand. A lot of sweat appeared on the forehead of the psychic. Just when I went to the toilet to pee, I suddenly thought of a crazy and painful idea. I'm thinking about whether to do it. If it works, it will not only satisfy the ideas of most of you, but also disgust those people who watch pirated copies. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 385, The Sword for Protection, End. There is someone who scolds me on questions browser. His name is Crazy Idiot. Hey, this name is so damn apt. I tell you, I will continue to write, and keep writing. What kind of person is this? I show you something for free, and you scold me. I will disgust you today. Night falls again. Beside the bonfire, Zamsha is looking down at the telekinetic alien. Next to him are various fruits of the same size as the telekinetic alien. Zamsha, have you consumed too much? Replenish some nutrition. The telekinetic alien is quite surprised. This is Zamsha, the former #1 swordsman in the universe. This is not the same as his impression that he should be a man who kills everyone. If you come to kill, you have to pull out the earthworms in the soil and chop them in half. Although he looks ugly and scary, Zamsha is very handsome. Why not release Zamsha's SHF? He is unexpectedly gentle. The telekinetic alien is concentrating on chewing the fruit, and a puzzled expression appears on his face. In front of his sight is Zamsha's scabbard. Telekinetic, what? Zamsha. Telekinetic, you, why are you only carrying the scabbard? Zamsha, it's broken. I lost in the battle. Telekinetic, I see. You were clearly showing an expression of I'm the strongest in the universe, but it turns out that it's not like that. Zamsha, he telekinetic asked curiously, who did you lose to? Mebius. Telekinetic, hey, you lost to my brother? What? Telekinetic, to be precise, is the Sakino. They are a race that wandered in the universe and came to Earth again. And this Sakino named Xiaoxiang used a trick to mix into the guys. Well, it's a trick, but in fact it means that he recognized Mirai, Mebius, as his brother, and then Mirai, a big-hearted, kind and innocent child, happily recognized a sister named Hibinogami. During this period, facing the past's use of telekinesis, the future angrily taught her a lesson. The kingdom of light. This child is really good-tempered. Ace looked at the future on the screen, who was earnestly explaining the rules of the earth to the past, and wondered what Bidao would do. You bitch. Pa. Slap. Well, this is the exclusive style of shaman. Faced with Captain Sakumu's question, Mirai said seriously and earnestly, the word brother has a deeper meaning for us. Ultra Brothers, this is the respectful title given to the elders by all residents of the Land of Light, because they are like brothers in our hearts. Earlier, it was the Earthlings and Ultraman who became brothers. The elders who once visited the Earth made a promise with the Earthlings to become brothers. Since then, the word brother has had a special meaning in the Land of Light. Special meaning? Yes, brothers make humans connect with us, which is a very happy thing for us. That's why you want to believe her who claims to be your sister, right? Captain Sakumu said gently, you think so, right? Yes. Mirai not only told Captain Sakumu the special meaning of brothers to the Land of Light, but also told Captain Sakumu the past of the Sakino people. They are unfortunate aliens who lost their planet because of their overly powerful superpowers. In the eyes of the kind-hearted Mirai, perhaps their pranks are just to eliminate their inner loneliness. I understand. Captain Sakumu said, if that's the case, if you want to let the past live here, then I have to make good arrangements. Captain. Mirai didn't expect Captain Sakumu to say this, and his tone was full of surprise and gratitude. As a brother, you have to take good care of your sister. Okay. And the guys who eavesdropped on the edge said that, if that's the case, then let's have a good farewell party. At the welcome party, the past was very happy. Although the encounter was not very pleasant, the past was very happy here. Although the evil forces led by Toriyama, a total of 2 people, had troubled the past, tied people with a broken tape, caused a little bit of unhappiness, made Xiaomen cry, and found a little bit of trouble, summoned the earth monster Angrus, but did not destroy the city or kill people, overall it was still okay. Although you are very good to me, it's useless. The past said with a smile on his face unconsciously. Thank you for the plane that was still stubborn. It's impossible to tell you. We were summoned by the space-time wave. Space-time wave? Future, who had transformed into Mebius, was stunned. The cat frowned and found that things were not simple. This planet is scattered with space-time waves that you can't detect. Whether it is the disk creatures or the cosmic people, they are attracted to the Earth by the space-time waves. Is this the reason why all kinds of monsters like to run to the Earth? Hikari said, although there is a monster-ride period, the frequency of attracting monsters on Earth is indeed a bit too frequent. The telekinesis of the Sakino people is so strong that it is difficult to find a race that can match it in the entire universe, regardless of the individual species. So it is not surprising that they can discover the space-time wave. Yes, and it is really fate. I didn't expect that the Sakino person who Zamsha rescued casually turned out to be the sister that Mebius recognized on Earth. The rising sun illuminated the spaceship and gradually descended on this desolate planet. Will you come with me? The man standing on the palm of his hand turned back to Zamsha and asked, to Earth. Zamsha, I have a request. Request. Zamsha, I need a new sword. Take me to the planet where the swordsman lives. The old man's voice sounded, there is no need for that. Zamsha's hair stood up, and he turned back suddenly. The ragged old man was standing behind him. The old man held a sword in his hand, which was shining brightly in the sunlight. If you want a sword, it's here. Zamsha took the sword, and was dazzled by the brilliance of the white blade. Looking at this sword that was so familiar that it couldn't be more familiar, he said in disbelief. Star cutting Meru? Zamsha thought for a while, and still asked, who are you? I told you. Just an old grandfather. Zamsha, you can find what you want, and what you want there, but you may not be able to come back once you go there. The old man suddenly said seriously, I'm serious this time, so have you thought it through? Zamsha knew what the old man meant. He didn't reply, but turned his head, and waved his hand, then boarded the Vanton starship. Mebius, I said, I will become the strongest man in the universe, and then come to defeat you. Now, I'm here. The sword that exists to protect End. Chapter 386. There is a very important discussion in the small theater. You must watch it. What? How come it's over again? Why are you breaking up the chapters again? There was a wailing in the theater, but after the wailing, everyone could feel that something was wrong with the old man's tone. The wind is whistling, and the Ishu River is cold. Once the warrior leaves, he will never come back. Bruce Wayne, old man, let's just treat him as the King of Ultra. The words that the King of Ultra said to Zamsha, and Zamsha's last action, made me feel this way. Although I don't understand what it means, I feel a sense of tragedy from it. I think Zamsha might die. Although Zamsha didn't leave a good impression on everyone at first, after watching the sword that exists for protection, everyone had a lot of good feelings for Zamsha, especially the part where Zamsha was unwilling to attack the old and weak old man who provoked him at the beginning, which gave them a wave of good feelings. The sun, this star is also burning today, just like it has been for billions of years. However, a small black spot suddenly appeared on the sun, and a small area was blocked by something like obsidian. On Earth, Mebius's identity was exposed by a scumbag reporter. Mebius teammates already knew that Mebius was the future, but other people on Earth didn't know. In addition, that scumbag used the title of the alien to attract attention. The suggestion was torn into pieces. One wave has not settled, another wave has risen. Regardless of Earth's public opinion, the 13th Inbelizer broke through the defense of the guy's space station and rushed into the atmosphere. Hearing this news, everyone's face turned bitter, even blue. The terror that Inbelizer brought to them, everyone still can't forget it. Ultraman Mebius, the day of farewell, the flame of friendship starts. Inbelizer Unit 01, known as the Unparalleled Iron God. At that time, its extremely terrifying strength was completely worthy of the title of the Unparalleled Iron God. Inbelizer Unit 01 is the ultimate war weapon built by the master behind the scenes. It is enchanted by the master himself. It has terrifying characteristics such as unlimited regeneration and restoration after being broken, unlimited deformation, instant movement, and super hardness. Any one of these characteristics is a strong enemy. When all these attributes are superimposed on a machine, the Unparalleled Iron God is born. When the Kingdom of Light surveyed the situation, it directly ordered Mebius to return to the Kingdom of Light, because the Kingdom of Light also knew that Mebius's strength at that time could not be the opponent of the Unparalleled Iron God, not to mention the mastermind behind the scenes, so it ordered Mebius to rush back to the Kingdom of Light. In the Golden Thought space, Ultra Father said, listen Mebius, the reason we let you come back is to let you accumulate strength to avoid greater crises. You are still young, you can't die. But the Earth. Mebius wanted to refute. We have sent Taro to Earth. Mother Ultra said in a bad tone, you have infinite possibilities. We can't let you die. The temporary retreat is to accumulate strength for a better battle. Yes. Under the persuasion of the two top figures of the Kingdom of Light, Father and Mother Ultra, Mebius finally decided to return, but he still had some things to do before leaving. Mebius knew that due to the difference in lifespan between the people of the Kingdom of Light and Earth, this farewell, if there was no accident, would be a farewell forever. He was going to do something as Hibinomere. He went to cook for Teppei, worked as a teacher at Zaohao's kindergarten for a day, went to Marina to help Xia Cheng meet the legendary driver in an instant, and cheered for George. And had a picnic with Long. In the guy's command room, everyone discussed the gifts from the future. Long, who had a big heart, said, "The future has always been a little weird. Isn't that normal?" But Zaohao suddenly said, "Do you think the future is going to leave, guys? No way. How is it possible? Isn't Long going to take a vacation tomorrow? Ask him tomorrow." The next day, Long was asked out by the future. "I'm really grateful for Long's care all the time." Future, what weird things are you talking about again? You're not really going to leave, guys, are you? Long finally realized something was wrong at this moment. Have you forgotten Mauroth and our wings? Just then, a ball of purple flame fell from the sky and landed in the city. The unparalleled Iron God, Inbeliza, is coming. Guys rushed out quickly, but he was no match for Inbeliza. Seeing this, Future held onto a broken jar and threw it away. "I'm leaving anyway, so I won't pretend anymore. I'm going to reveal my identity. Long, please look carefully. This is my final transformation." "What?" Mebius. In a dazzling light, a giant with a cat's head appeared in the city. Future. Long was dumbfounded. His good brother turned out to be Ultraman? Exclamation mark. Did he scold him a lot before? Mebius went forward to fight with Inbeliza. Even with the sharpness of the Mebius Night Light Blade, which was formed by the combination of the Mebius Light Sword with the breath of Mebius and the Night Blade with the breath of the night, Mebius had to waste a lot of strength to barely remove one of Inbeliza's arms. You know, Inbeliza didn't even resist during this period. Originally thought that the attack had a slight effect, but the arm that fell from Inbeliza instantly turned into a giant blade, and with a sword, Mebius was knocked onto the building, without even the strength to move. Just as Inbeliza was about to go up, to finish off the opponent, a background music that did not belong to Mebius sounded. "Taro. You are so big." Ultraman Taro, the sixth brother of Ultraman, the prince of the Kingdom of Light, the chief instructor of the Ultraman Dojo. The prince's attack was extraordinary. He went up to perform a set of atomic punches, followed by a swallow-style flying kick, and finally charged for 3 seconds. He raised his right hand high, and put his left hand on his waist, raised his left hand, and crossed it with his right hand to emit sparks, and placed both hands on his waist, to absorb the cosmic energy in the atmosphere. His body became colorful, and his arms formed a T-shape, to emit colorful rays of light, stream rays. The stream rays shattered Inbeliza's upper body. Just when everyone thought the battle was over, Inbeliza, who was only left with his lower body, actually recovered. And it was exactly the same as before, just like the stream beam just now was fake. But at this moment, the mastermind behind the scenes teleported away Inbeliza for some reason. Is this thing a monster? They have seen many monsters with a sense of oppression, but the sense of oppression brought by Inbeliza can be ranked first. Leafrot is a special case. When people know the characteristics of Leafrot, their fear of it has been reduced a lot, because Leafrot is not a big problem, as long as you don't touch it, but Inbeliza is positioned as an invader. Million Basaku is not as buggy as Inbeliza. Million Basaku is just a little bigger, with a little energy advantage. When Maximum recovered, he chopped it to pieces with a sword. The sense of oppression is not as strong as the Lightyear giant sword. The sense of oppression of Inbeliza is real. A horror movie master once said that, if horror movies want to scare people, the monsters in them must be immortal. And Inbeliza obviously meets this condition. If half of the body can be restored after being blown up, how can we fight this? Shatter it at the atomic level? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. If so, it's not a big problem for me, but according to my observation, Ultraman Mebius does not have the ability to attack atoms directly. In this case, Ultraman Maximum can come to help. Peter Parker, I feel that the light skill I inherited seems to have a similar ability. Completely wipe out the alien beasts at the atomic level. Strange. Maximum's Maxium cannon also turns the enemy into light particles. Don't other people in your kingdom of light have this ability? Ace, it should be, because the universe is different. Our light skills contain spacium matter. This matter has extremely destructive power, but it cannot attack at the molecular level. Ace, I think the power of Ultraman Maximum's light skills has changed due to the difference in the universe. The video continues. Mirai told Long everything on the rooftop. Long already knew the identity of the future, and the future told Long that he was leaving the Earth. In response, Long asked a question that he had been puzzled about for a long time. Future, you know, are an Ultra Warrior. Why do Ultra Warriors work so hard to protect the Earth? This question is very difficult. Thanks to the future as a top student of the Kingdom of Light, he has a deep understanding of the history of the Kingdom of Light and can answer it instead of being like a handsome guy wearing diamond contact lenses who knows nothing about anything. This goes back to before I was born. Future told Long about the history of their Kingdom of Light. At that time, we had the same appearance as humans. Huh? Long asked in confusion, but you look like a human now. It's different. I just borrowed the appearance of a human to use the power of the Ultra Warriors. Suddenly one day, our clan accidentally obtained the power of the Ultra Warriors, but that was definitely not the power we wanted. However, since we have the power, it means we should consider what to do with it. There must be something to protect. Long, do you see that shining star? Future told Long, that's my hometown, Ultra Star. Ultra Star is 3 million light years away from the Earth. In other words, the light we see here now is the light when our clan was still human. We can't go back to the time when we were still human. Then, the Ultra Warriors regard the Earth as their past planet. Long suddenly understood what Future meant. So, the Ultra Warriors will risk their lives to protect it? Future? Long turned his head to look, but he couldn't see Future. Future, I have something important to say to you. Listening to Future's decisive tone, Peter suddenly felt that the Ultra Warriors theory coincided with his own. Since we have obtained power, it means that we should consider what to do with it. There must be something to protect. Isn't this the greater the power, the greater the responsibility? Exclamation mark. Strange. Maslow's theory divides needs into 5 levels, and Future is talking about the self-transcendence part of the highest level of needs, self-realization. Bruce Wayne, I have to admit that the moral standards of the Kingdom of Light are really high. Hickory once told me about the laws of the Kingdom of Light, but I found that the laws of the Kingdom of Light are in name only because the moral standards of the residents of the Kingdom of Light are higher than the legal requirements. The video continues. Future is missing, but the operation must continue, and Guy still has to protect the Earth. Their plan is to send in Beliza to an altitude of 8,000 kilometers, and then use the latent R-30 to blow it into scrap metal. The operation has begun. The operation failed. Guys and the others did not expect that Unit 01 in Beliza could teleport from outer space to Earth. Guys' operation plan failed, so Taro came on the scene. Atomic punch, swallow style flying kick, instant stream beam, charged stream beam, and finally even activated the ultimate killer, Ultra Bomb. Under Guy's responsibility, Inbeliza was beaten badly by Taro, but that was all. Inbeliza's unreasonable recovery ability allowed him to recover intact, even after being blown to pieces by the Ultra Bomb. Just when Taro was helpless, the Future suddenly appeared at the edge of the battlefield. Seeing the Future appear, Taro was very angry, very angry. Mebius, return to the Kingdom of Light immediately. You are still young, you cannot die. Instructor Taro, are you going to die? Taro was almost choked to death by the words of the straightforward Mirai. Mirai, you must remember why we fight, because we want to meet our friends with a smile. Go, Mirai. Gig. After Taro used the Ultra Bomb, but still had no effect, Mirai transformed under the crowd and gaze of his teammates. Mebius. In the strong light, Mebius appeared on the field. Guys, except for Captain Sakimu, covered their eyes. That was not a light that ordinary humans could look directly at. It was an extremely pure and dazzling light. Looking at the restored Washang Iron God, Mebius rushed forward and was slapped to the ground by Inbeliza. His body, which had not been well recovered, seemed even weaker at this moment. Mebius. Get off. Taro rushed forward with his weakened body after using the Ultra Bomb to help Mebius block a wave of attacks from Unbelizer. You don't have to fight so hard, Unbelizer. Even if I risk my life, I will. You must not die. Mebius and Taro stood side by side. Fighting with your life is to meet your friends with a smile again. That's what the important people told me. Yes, the important people. Taro panted, and he also remembered the old friends of the Z team. With the assistance of Mebius, Guys successfully fired a capture moment, but was blown up by Unbelizer's only slightly more powerful charged attack. This is a capture moment that can withstand the full strength impact of the volcano monster Bird Barton without any damage. Let me explain my genius and slightly schizophrenic new plan. Considering that some of you may be really tired of watching Ultraman because you don't belong to this audience area, but I want to write, my writing plan will not change, so I think I should open a new volume. Yes, Kidian has the function of opening different volumes, and the 5th and 6th volumes can be separated. I can update Crazy Diversity and Ultraman at the same time. This can not only meet your requirements, but also change my mind. Moreover, pirated versions definitely do not have the function of splitting volumes, and I can also disgust the idiots of pirated versions. Kill 3 bads with 1 stone, brothers. I'll try it first, and if it works, I'll do it. Chapter 387. Everyone gasps. The Kingdom of Light is on guard. Embellizer once again refreshed everyone's senses with its power. The combat power of this thing is too terrifying. At this moment, Peter suddenly realized something. If I remember correctly, I just said at the beginning that there were 13 Embellizers invading the Earth. Everyone gasped, forcing the screening room to activate the emergency control device to release cold air to prevent the temperature in the screening room from rising sharply. If one is so strong, how can the 13 be defeated? Logan, there are 13 monsters of this level? Exclamation mark. It's too much. Tony Stark, even if this Embellizer is Unit 01, the strength of the other Embellizers will not be too weak, but at least it can be confirmed that this Embellizer must have been solved. Bruce Wayne, this is true. If this Embellizer is not solved, then there will definitely be no subsequent story. Magneto, but how was this monster destroyed? Captain America, Tony, did you mean that Unit 01 is much stronger than other Ultraman? Tony Stark, it is possible. The quality of Unit 01 and mass-produced units is usually different. At least Unit 01 is usually produced through continuous modification and polishing. Its manufacturer will definitely use all kinds of precious materials and polish it carefully for the sake of data. After obtaining complete data, it can be produced on the factory assembly line to manufacture mass-produced units. Tony Stark, generally speaking, I mean generally, mass-produced units are not as good as Unit 01 in all aspects. Whether it is the effort put in by the manufacturer or the materials, it is like this. Tony Stark, however, this is only relative. I don't think that with the strength of Ultraman will fall from the unparalleled Iron God to the point of being unparalleled after mass production. Looking at Ultraman on the screen, who easily beat 2 powerful Ultraman, Tony's eyes revealed a trace of desire. If only he could draw an Embellizer. No, he didn't need to draw one. He would be given the blueprints and even some of the technology. He was confident that he could upgrade his suit to a terrifying level. But the only reward card he drew in the screening room was gray card, dust. Thinking of this, Tony burst into tears. He was Tony Stark, the richest man in the world. He didn't expect that there would be a day when he would be trapped by money. The video continues. After easily destroying the capture matrix, Embellizer fired a firebomb at the position of Guys. This thing is charged. It can knock down Mebius and make him unable to get up for a long time. This firebomb doesn't even need to hit, and the aftermath can kill everyone in Guys. At this critical moment, a figure blocked everyone. It was Mebius. He blocked the attack with his back. Intense sparks splashed on Mebius' back. Compared with its predecessor with a breastplate, Mebius' back is more vulnerable. This is equivalent to wearing a bulletproof vest and a mortal body to catch a bullet. Although the defensive power of the Mebius breastplate is definitely not comparable to the Brave armor, it is better than wearing nothing. Mebius blocked a bullet with his back. No. This thing turned on the burst mode after firing the charged bullet and knocked Xiao Meng unconscious. Guys and the others were stunned, and Taro was anxious. Mebius' eyes dimmed. Everyone didn't know what it looked like when Ultraman died in battle, but what Mebius looked like. In the chaos, Mebius' soul drifted here. His consciousness was in chaos, without thoughts, and he drifted in the chaos instinctively. Back arrow. A loud shout rang in the ears of the future, and Mebius' mind became a little clearer. Such a familiar voice. Dragon? Not yet, it's not over yet. George couldn't believe that Mebius and Mirai were dead. He roared in grief and anger. Future. Aren't you going to watch my comeback match in the future? Yes. Marina also shouted, I will participate in the world championships in the future. So you must come and see. Me too. I will definitely become an excellent doctor in the future. Teppei looked at the unconscious Xiao Meng and shouted, no. After this battle, I will treat your injuries. The children in the kindergarten are still waiting for you. Xiao Heo held the token given to her by Mirai and said, stand up. Mirai. Back here. Long raised the communicator with a flame logo and roared, didn't you make an agreement with us? You must come back alive. You broke the agreement with your partners. What kind of third-rate Ultraman are you? Ultraman never break an agreement. Mirai. Stand up. Sakami looked at the unconscious Mebius and shouted, Mirai. Open your eyes. I'm Sakami Shingo. Stand up. Mebius' eyes suddenly lit up with a ray of light, and endless flames burned around Mebius. The light golden flame energy poured into Mebius' breath, and Mebius' breath formed a Mebius ring composed of endless flames. The flame energy overflowing from the body surrounded the body, and turned into a flame symbol on the chest. Did you draw a flame symbol on your body? This is the symbol of our friendship. This is the fire of our friendship, that will never go out. Ultraman Mebius, the brave of flame. Taro, who was desperately hammering in Beliza, saw this and nodded to Mebius to send his master's affirmation. At the same time, he strongly condemned the Stinjitsu Buraya for not giving himself a super tail leather suit. When Beliza saw Mebius stand up, a spiral ray was shot out. Seeing this, Taro, who was already extremely weak, squeezed out a stream of energy from his body again, and released a stream of energy without charging to help Mebius block the attack. Leo was about to cry. I accept that I have such a good teammate, but why do I have such a good master? Mebius raised his arms in front of his chest, and the flame mark on his chest lit up with a blazing light. This was the flame energy generated by Mebius's breath. A huge fireball appeared out of thin air, and under the compression of Mebius, it became a huge fireball with a radius of several meters. Mebius pushed forward, and the huge fireball hit Beliza directly. The terrifying high temperature did not give Beliza a chance to recover, and directly burned it to ashes, leaving no molecule behind. Exclamation mark. Beliza was knocked down, and disappeared on the spot, dead without leaving any residue. Looking at Mebius, who had returned to his original appearance, Taro nodded and walked over. Ultraman Mebius is our partner. Long shouted to Taro, the legendary Ultra Warrior, I want to protect the Earth with him from now on. Protect our future. Yes. Me too. Me too. Please. The future is our partner. Long looked at Taro, and with extremely sincere courage, he bowed his head, and said to Taro, please, this is a lifetime plea. Please don't let Ultraman Mebius, please don't let our future go back. Please. Taro looked at them, then looked at Mebius. He could feel the bond between Mebius and the guy's team members. So he stopped blocking them, but silently sent his blessings to Mebius and left. Ultraman Mebius, the coming of the Emperor starts in 3 minutes. Emperor. Seeing this word, Hikaru's face suddenly changed. He recalled the dark shadow that was like a nightmare in hell to the people of the Land of Light. Land of Light. Emperor. Could it be that Emperor has really returned? Zophis First Generation 7 looked at the upgrade on the screen and couldn't help but recall the demon-like figure holding a black sword and slashing all the way from the Science and Technology Bureau to the bottom of the Plasma Spark Tower without even a single stab. The coming of the Emperor, and the terrifying weapon of Beliza, plus Bogaru the Pioneer and the alien who destroyed 2 planets in the story of Zamsha. Yes, it must be him. Father Ultra looked at the title on the screen, and determined who the final enemy would be. Apart from Babak-Wan Shakao, the only one who is qualified to call himself the Emperor in the universe is the Great Dark Emperor of the universe. Emperor. There is no doubt about the strength of Emperor. At that battle, he took the Holy Sword and unlocked the true power in his body. He barely defeated Emperor Starman under the condition of ultimate explosion, but he also left himself with a scar that can never be cured. Father Ao touched his waist. With the current treatment level of the Kingdom of Light, this scar is impossible to heal. As for the future, it is hard to say. Considering that the technological level of the Kingdom of Light has not made any breakthrough progress for tens of thousands of years, Father Ao is not optimistic about his injury. Anyway, the opponents that he can deal with can also be dealt with by the growing Space Guard. If he can't deal with them, even with the Space Guard, he will probably have to report to King Ao. His existence is more like a mascot for the current Kingdom of Light, but it is a more powerful one. However, the video did remind him that it is still more than 20 years before the video takes place. In other words, more than 20 years later, Emperor's Dark Army will reappear and endanger the universe. How could we let this happen? Zophie, put the Space Guard on wartime alert and increase patrols on Achlia and Mistra. Emperor is coming back. I want to add a description of the prince wearing a chayote suit directly in the book when I write the 6th volume of The Great Conspiracy. If the royalties can still maintain this level by then, I will find an artist to make a chayote fan art. Chapter 388, Mengbamu explodes. Emperor. Is that the demon that invaded the Kingdom of Light that you told me about? Bruce Wayne asked. If I remember correctly, Emperor is the Dark Emperor. Yes, that's him. Hikari said, except for Baba and his group of ignorant people, the only one who calls himself the Emperor in the universe is Emperor. Could it be that Emperor was also attracted by the space-time wave? Although I know that the Earth in that world has space-time waves that attract all kinds of monsters and aliens, but even a terrifying existence like Emperor who can directly penetrate the main body of the Kingdom of Light has come to the Earth. Is the Earth really that good? Exclamation mark. Not really. This is just a small broken ball. Ultraman Mebius: The Coming of the Emperor starts broadcasting. After breaking through the defense line of the Guy's space station, the 13th Inbelizer landed in the big cities of various human countries. Guys immediately set out, but at this moment, a voice actually spread to the minds of everyone in the world. I'm the Great Emperor of Darkness. I'm the ruler of this universe. I'm now conveying my will to you Earthlings. Drive away Ultraman Mebius. He has transformed into a human and is lurking somewhere. I order you to find him and then have you Earthlings hand him over to me. Hearing this, ordinary people were shocked. Ultraman is actually an Earthling. So does this transformation mean that few people actually read the reports of the scum reporter? Asshole. How could we possibly agree to such a request? What Emperor or not? The reliable old bird came online again. I will never agree to such a request. Not good. The closest Inbelizer to us has started. He has started to attack. Even if they are mass-produced machines, these 13 mass-produced machines are of high quality. Inbelizer wreaked havoc in the city. Guys quickly moved out. Facing the Emperor's killing of the chicken to scare the monkey, they had to tell the Emperor with practical actions. No matter what you are, your threats are useless to the people on Earth. Future transformed Mebius stepped forward to fight. It can be seen that compared to the Green Warrior in the past, Mebius has made a qualitative leap in all aspects. Faced with a flame bomb that once knocked him unconscious, Mebius quickly opened his shield to resist. Guys' plane opened fire to cover the side. While the attention of the Inbelizer Unit 2 was attracted, Mebius went up to fight with Inbelizer in close combat. He did a somersault and a sidekick to knock Inbelizer to the ground. He quickly changed his form and the Mebius Flame Brave came online. When his whole body was burning with endless flames, Mebius added a Mebius Spiral Kick taught by Leo to kick the entire Inbelizer on the spot. We all understand that Mebius has become stronger, but this is too strong. Seeing Mebius kicking Inbelizer to pieces with a set of smooth movements, everyone felt that they were a little slow to react. They thought it would be a tough battle, but it turned out to be a game of fish frying and bullying. Peter looked at Mebius who easily solved the battle on the screen, and suddenly felt like he was fighting the two-headed rat after awakening the transformation function. They were all similar. They were all monsters that had beaten Ultraman into the hospital, and then they were killed in one move. Oh, he might be a little easier than Mebius. He didn't even have close combat. He just changed positions with the two-headed rat and threw it to the playground to help him solve the pain of the physical test. In addition to Mebius becoming stronger, I think the decline of Imbeliza from Unit 01 to a mass-produced machine is also a big part of the reason. As a professional, Tony Stark made a rational analysis. However, there are still 12 Imbelizas. If 12 of them attack together, it will be a big trouble. The video continues. When Imbeliza was knocked down, 2 Imbelizas appeared instantly. What? Did these bastards evolve the ability to split into 2? Teppei analyzed the situation briefly in the command room and immediately passed the situation to the front line. Good news, Imbeliza did not evolve the ability to split into 2. Great. But those 2 Imbelizas are the real deal. They were all teleported from other places. While talking, the 2 Imbelizas had already launched an attack on Mebius. Even if it is a mass-produced machine, Imbeliza's hard power is there, especially when they have a commander. 2 Imbelizas, one released a fireball, and the other stepped forward with a giant sword in close combat. In an instant, the situation on the field was reversed, and Mebius was hit by a red light on the spot. Captain Sakumu immediately ordered the unblocking of the Transcendence technology. With the help of Guy's Transcendence technology, Mebius broke free from control, and the terrifying flame energy was released from the Mebius breath. Unlike the Mebius explosion, this time the flame energy in the Mebius breath did not gather in the flame pattern on the chest of Mebius, the flame hero, but burned endless flames all over Mebius' body. Mebius bomb. The land of light. Looking at this posture and this way of storing energy, a group of Ultra brothers in the land of light who had not yet entered the land of light and were wearing sheets to retire were stunned. Taro, this kid. How could he pass on such a threatening forbidden technique as the Ultra Bomb to this child? Zofie was a little angry. What the hell is the Ultra Bomb? That is an absolute forbidden technique of the Land of Light. In the Land of Light, except for Taro who dares to use this move, other Ultramen simply cannot use this skill. This is the same as Ace's Ultra Guillotine. It is a forbidden technique. If the Ultra Guillotine is too powerful and the energy consumption is too high, it will injure the user if he is not careful, and it can only be used by Ace who has a natural energy bar twice that of others. Then the Ultra Bomb is a suicide move. This is used to perish together with the enemy. In other words, Taro has the Ultra Heart as a foundation and can be reborn after using the Ultra Bomb. Other Ultramen, including Ultraman Father, will die if they use it. But this child actually knows this move, and judging from his proficiency, it seems that this is not the first time he has used it. Mebius, with a body full of super high temperature flames, rushed towards Imbeliza and hugged Imbeliza tightly. The terrifying high temperature instantly burned Imbeliza red. This is Imbeliza who can remain unscathed in outer space. The next second, a light that was extremely dazzling even at a distance of 1,000 meters lit up, and a mushroom cloud of terrifying flames slowly rose at the position of Imbeliza. Chapter 389b. Hey, think more. After dealing with the 2 Imbelizas, countless light particles reorganized on the spot, and an extremely weak Mebius appeared. But a desperate scene appeared, and another Imbeliza appeared in the city. Cat shocked. JPG Mebius rolled like Nemo to avoid the attack of the firebomb. He wanted to fight and tried hard to get up from the ground, but Mebius really had no strength. After struggling hard on the ground for 2 times, he fell on the spot. At this time, the voice sounded again. As you can see, it's a piece of cake for me to defeat Mebius. Then the earth will be destroyed. Drive Mebius out of the earth. If you do this, I promise to protect the earth and not let the earth suffer any threats. The time limit is 3 hours. Question: why does the Dark Emperor Impala, who has the power to easily kill Mebius and can directly become unrivaled in the Kingdom of Light by wearing the dark armor, want to drive Mebius out of the earth? This question is a multiple choice question. If you answer correctly, you will be awarded 10 points. If you answer incorrectly, you will draw a pain card. A. To show off his military power and intimidate the Kingdom of Light. B. Because of the space-time wave. C. Emperor wants to expand his territory. He has set his sights on the earth, so he wants to drive away Mebius and occupy the earth. D. To sever the bond between humans and Ultraman. E. Emperor wants to replace Mebius and become the protector of the Earth. Friendly reminder, Bihei, you need to think more. Who is Bihei? Arctic Ocean? It can't be Zhang Bihei. Bruce Wayne. This time the question is much simpler. Guang. It's okay. I removed the funny options that seem to be nonsense. The remaining options are all very likely options. Well, I may have kept E as a funny option. Thanos. I think option A should be ruled out. If you want to show off your power, then killing Mebius directly or catching him and lingering him can obviously show your power in the hearts of the Earthlings. Loki Odinson. That's right. And it's even more obvious if you add the deterrent to the Kingdom of Light. The question says that after the Emperor people put on the dark armor, they have the ability to directly open the invincible power in the Kingdom of Light. No matter from which aspect, there is no need for the Emperor people to go to the Earth specifically, and they drove Mebius out of the Earth. Bruce Wayne. Several Inbelazes can beat Mebius without any chance to fight back. 13 Inbelazes attack together, and Mebius has no power to resist. The Emperor did that for deterrence, but more of it is to force the Earthlings to drive Mebius away personally. Then he also said to protect the Earth. Bruce Wayne, if you just want to deter and show power, there is no need to go through so much trouble. I suggest that option A be eliminated. Tony Stark, reconsider. Strange, reconsider. Wanda, reconsider. Constantine, reconsider. Logan, me too. Peter asked in disbelief, is it that simple? We usually have to analyze for a long time before we can barely eliminate one option. A Kingdom of Light. The AOS looked at the information in front of them in silence. Publish it. It's not top secret anyway. Yes. Ace, we just found a piece of information about the Emperor people from the database. Ace, to be precise, it's from Emperor. Ace, everyone, have you ever thought about one thing? That is, the external name of the Emperor people is Dark Emperor people. This means that his name is Emperor people. Wanda, what does that mean? Guang, other cosmic people, such as the Magna people, are all named after their own race and planet, and they all have their own names. For example, other cosmic people would call us people of the Land of Light or Ultraman, and call Earthlings, but we all have our own names, like Zamsha, Guang, but the Enpolar people have no names, or rather, they are named after the Enpolar people, after their own planet. Guang. This situation is not common in the universe. People who do this are either proud of this person on their planet, which would make that person name the planet and represent their entire star, or ace, there is only one person left on the entire planet. As the last orphan of the planet, that person gave up his former name in order to prevent his planet and his people from being forgotten, and named his planet after himself, so that his planet and himself could live together. Ace, not many people do this, because no one is willing to believe that he is the only one left on the entire planet. Just like Kofu, he does not name himself after the Nelaru people. In addition to the different customs in different universes, he also believes that there must be people of his own tribe living in the vast starry sky. Ace, according to this planetary observation report from 100,000 years ago, a star was destroyed 100,000 years ago, and among its satellite planets, there was a planet called Emperor. Peter Parker, are you saying that the Emperor people are the orphans of Emperor? Exclamation mark. Ace, yes, that's why Emperor is named after the planet. According to the research of our archaeological team, the experience of the Emperor people is very similar to that of our Kingdom of Light. Both stars went out. Before the stars went out, their body shapes and appearances were the same as those of our Kingdom of Light before they evolved, and they were very similar to the people on Earth. Ace, therefore, the possibility of options C and E cannot be ruled out. Strange, no, you may not have noticed a word. Strange, what Emperor said at the time was to shelter the Earth instead of protecting the Earth. The meanings of these two words are very different. Wonder, is the difference very big? Strange, the Ultra Warriors are protecting the Earth as friends, but what about sheltering? Bruce Wayne, as a superior. Constantine, colonists also need to protect their colonies from foreign invasions, because these are their wealth. Constantine, is Emperor going to replace Mebius? This sentence combined with Emperor's speech above means that option E is absolutely wrong. Tony Stark, yes, that's right. A can be completely removed. I think option C can also be removed. Tony Stark, there is no problem with the first half, but the last sentence is wrong. Do I owe a 3-body North Sea biography? Okay, everyone, let's take a look together. How many pirated idiots who have broken their defense come to the comment section to shit? Should I turn on the fan value setting? Originally, this chapter was to be updated tomorrow, but I want to try the effect. If the effect is not good or it only disgusts you, but does not disgust the pirated idiots, I will not do it. Chapter 390. I think I found something extraordinary. Tony Stark, let me ask you first, is there anyone in the universe who knows that the Earth is protected by your kingdom of light? Hearing Tony's question, Hikaru thought for a moment and replied, yes, and there are many. Ace, according to the information from the statistics department, after the great turmoil in the universe during the Leo period, it has been a long time since any cosmic person went to the Earth to cause trouble. Eddie dealt with negative energy monsters born from negative energy, and cosmic people like Bolton who have a blood feud with the Kingdom of Light. Ace, other cosmic people basically won't go to the Earth to cause trouble. Tony Stark, that's right, the Emperor people invaded the Kingdom of Light, and their relationship with you must not be considered a good neighbor. Right, Ace, he killed my parents. Tony Stark, oh, sorry, I'm an orphan too. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Bruce Wayne, me too. Peter Parker, me too. I was raised by my uncle and aunt. Wanda, my parents were killed by the missiles you developed. Stark, although you didn't sell them. Captain America, my parents died a long time ago. I was frozen in the ice and didn't get to see them for the last time. Constantine, my dad is dead too. My mom left when I was very young. I don't know if she's still alive now. Tony Stark, stop it. Just ignore me. It's not an exaggeration to say that Emperor and the Kingdom of Light have a blood feud. In this case, Emperor certainly wouldn't mind killing one more young warrior from the Kingdom of Light, but he chose to let the Earthlings hand over Mobius, and he did it personally. Tony Stark, excluding the unstable factor of the space-time wave, option D is the only option that best fits the situation. Tony Stark, destroy the bond between the Earthlings and the Kingdom of Light. Agwang, yes, killing is worse than destroying the heart. If the Earthlings really hand over Mobius, it will probably be a bigger blow to this child than death. Ace, no. Constantine, Ace, I believe in the Earthlings. They will absolutely not hand over Mobius. Absolutely not. Ace, I choose D. You guys can do whatever you want. Thanos, there is actually nothing to choose. I also choose D. The screen is all D. The video continues. In the guy's base, Assistant Officer Toriyama is facing 3 black-clad National Security Agency agents with a smug look on his face. The leader was named Yabuki. Yabuki said, guys knew that Ibanomiri was Ultraman Mobius, but they didn't report it, and took him in as a member of guys. Wait a minute. Old Bird interrupted them and asked, is this true? I should be the one questioning. At this time, the other members of guys also came. Seeing this, Old Bird said, as if he saw a savior, you are finally here. This group of people insist that Mirai is Ultraman Mobius. How is it possible? How can such a thin and honest child like Mirai be Ultraman Mobius? Don't you think this is too funny? Ha 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 ha. It's true. Ryu looked at Yabuki and said something that scared Old Bird. Sure enough, Old Bird's eyes rolled back and he was about to faint on the spot. The Earth must be protected by our own hands. This is what the captain of the defense team left behind. You know that, right? Yes. Then you also know that Ultra Warriors are also aliens. Don't you think it's a problem to leave the protection of the Earth to an unknown existence? Kingdom of Light. This is what my captain said. Seven looked at Yabuki on the screen and had the urge to slap him twice. Screening room. That's true, but it's hard not to think too much when you say it in this environment. Constantine sneered. It's really hard not to think too much. That's right. Peter said foolishly, but what they meant by that is to hand over Mobius. Fortunately, Mobius is not in the team, otherwise it must be very disappointing. The video continues. We think there is no problem. Long said excitedly, because Mobius? No, because Mirai is our partner. Partner? Yabuki sneered. When did guys become a friendship group? I now ask you to hand over Mebius immediately. Mirai can't move at all now. It's difficult for Mirai to maintain a human body now. If you take him away now, he will die. But there is no time. Yabuki and his two subordinates wanted to turn around and leave, but the old bird who was about to faint before stopped the three of them. This unserious old man was serious again for a rare time. I know Hibino Mirai very well. The old bird said seriously. Although he is stupid, he works harder than anyone else, and is kinder and more honest than anyone else. Yabuki still looked indifferent. He had heard about the character of Assistant Officer Toriyama a long time ago. He was weak and incompetent, timid, and only thought about his position and pension. Now that the director of guys is gone, the highest position is Assistant Officer Toriyama. For the sake of your position, please get out of the way. People like this will be impossible. He is my irreplaceable subordinate. Toriyama stood in front of Yabuki and almost drawled out this sentence. Yabuki said that he was indeed a little surprised and underestimated them, but he still asked, "Is this your statement as the assistant officer of the guys branch? Or is it your personal opinion?" The Kingdom of Light. Looking at the old bird on the screen, who was so tough, but still quite aggrieved, Ace suddenly understood why the Earth Defense Force TAC team he was in was disbanded. If it were the TAC team, the three of them could crawl out of the command room by themselves, which would be a sign that his old friends had a stomachash. Assistant Toriyama's words are the intention of the acting director of the guys branch. Looking at Captain Sakamizu coming out from behind, Yabuki suddenly stepped forward and said, "Long time no see, Director Sakamizu." Director? The old bird was stunned. The director was actually next to me. Yes, the director of the guys branch is me. Misaki explained on the side. Director Sasaki concealed his identity and came to the front line as a captain to fight with the team members. Why? Long asked puzzledly. Why did you do this? Brothers, I found an interesting thing. After I updated the 6th volume, I updated the 5th volume again. However, after the pirated version stole the update of the 6th volume, it stopped updating the things updated in the 5th volume. I seem to have found a bug and discovered a new anti-theft mode. There is only one chapter at present. I will try it tomorrow. If it works, I will turn off the fan value speech to see if there are any brain dead people who see the pirated version and break the defense to come to the book review area to scold me. Chapter 391 Reward for correct answers. Because I want to be with you all, I also want to fight with the Ultra Warriors, with you, that's all. The warm atmosphere didn't last long. Yabuki asked coldly, "Are you done? On behalf of the government, I now demand that you hand over Ultraman Mebius and Director Sakumu resign immediately." Bakaya. The Land of Light. Seeing Long raise his fist and about to swing it at Yabuki's old face, he was very happy. That's right. Long. Sakumu stopped Long and said, "Please let me do the last job as the director." The last job? At the same time, in space, Hikari flew to a place where he would not be sucked into the gravity of the sun and observed the sun closely. Now there are black spots on the sun. Compared with the huge size of the entire sun, these spots with a radius of less than 20 to 30 meters are not as big as the freckles on the face of ordinary people. But these are black spots on the sun, and the most important thing is this thing is growing all the time. Sure enough, it's not just the sunspots. If this goes on, the sun will. On the earth. The remaining 10 Embellises were quietly placed in the capitals of various countries around the world. And Director Sakumu changed into a grey director's uniform and prepared to speak in front of a camera. Sakumu placed a small silver box on the table. He looked at the camera. This would be a speech to the whole world. "Everyone, I'm the director of the guys branch, Sakumu. There is still 1 hour left. First of all, I must convey one thing to you. Ultraman Mebius is a member of guys." Everyone is shocked now. Indeed. Passers-by were shocked to hear Director Guys confirm this personally. Pedestrians on the road were talking about it, and a young man took it as a performance of facial expression. But please listen to my personal experience. In the past, I flew in the universe at sublight speed. At that time, I met an Ultraman who silently guarded the Earth to protect it from invaders. The scene fell into the memory of Sakumu. At that time, Sakumu was a pilot of the Science Special Search Team, responsible for the exploration and development of the universe. That time, at the edge of the solar system, Sakumu encountered the army of the Jeton Star. Seeing that he could not escape, just when Sakumu was about to sacrifice, a silver figure suddenly appeared in front of Sakumu. The silver giant blocked Sakumu's spaceship, raised his hand, and a blue light directly hit the army of the Jeton Star. The army of the Jeton Star exploded instantly, and the giant with medals on his chest told him that before the day when humans can keep pace with them, they will become our shield to defend against invaders. Captain Sakamizu looked at humans and said affectionately, "They love humans, and have been trying their best to protect humans. We have the responsibility to respond to their wishes. The earth must be protected by our own hands." These are the words left by Captain Kiriyama of the Ultra Guard. But this does not mean that we humans do not need Ultra Warriors. It tells us that we cannot rely solely on the power of Ultraman. Captain Sakamizu's words spread all over the world with the live broadcast. People stopped and recalled every moment of the Ultra Warriors' future battle to protect the Earth. Yabuki, who was standing in the live broadcast room, had tears in his eyes. He was also a person who was saved by an Ultra Warrior. We should also fight together and never give up until the end. We support the Ultra Warriors and give them strength and fight with them. Ultraman has never been protecting humans, but fighting with us humans. Please show your courage. Do not succumb to the intimidation of the invaders. Show our human will and courage, and everyone should follow your heart and make the final answer. Sorry to bother you. Sakumu bowed deeply to the camera and said, "I'm going to breathe some air outside. Don't worry, I won't run away." Director Sakumu walked towards the bright outside. Against the backdrop of the light, Director Sakumu's figure looked particularly tall. People also fell into discussion. People wanted to support the Ultra Warriors and their Ultraman Mebius. But Mebius lost, and lost miserably. No. A clear child's voice sounded, as loud as thunder that shattered the darkness. Ultra Warriors will not lose. Yes, Ultra Warriors will not lose, because we will be with Ultra Warriors. Fax after fax, text message after text message, call record after call. People from all over the world used different languages and different methods to convey to the upper echelons of guys through television stations, and gathered people's thoughts and determination into one sentence, to pass on to guys, to their Ultraman. We will not give up Mebius, we will fight side by side with Mebius. This is the bond and fetter that has been formed between Ultra Warriors and humans for decades. How could the Emperor aliens cut it off so easily? Exclamation mark. Is this what the people of the world are like, uniting as one to overcome difficulties? Most of the people here are American. My book will not introduce characters with Chinese backgrounds, unless there are unexpected circumstances, except for the river god. So if you have any characters you want to see, as long as the background is not Chinese, you can also mention it, but not our my hero. They are all used to superheroes saving the world, and have never seen such a scene. Congratulations, you all got it right. This line of words appeared on the screen in the screening room. As a reward, you can specify a general direction as a signpost when you draw a card. If you draw a mushroom, it may be a sunshine mushroom or a charm mushroom, but it will definitely not be Dr. Zombie King. At the same time, the card drawing machine will complete an update at the end of the screening, so stay tuned. So there is such a mechanism. Why do I feel like he came up with it on the spur of the moment? It must be your illusion. Maybe, who knows? The video continues. Yabuki suddenly received a call. When he heard the content on the phone, his ugly face finally smiled, his eyes lit up, and he announced a piece of news to the guy's people with relief, as if the sky had cleared up after the rain, and he was reborn. On the rooftop, Sasu was looking at the clear sky, but his heart was full of dark clouds. Just then, the guy's people suddenly ran over. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 392, Thanos' Awakening. We can't give up the future no matter what. This is the answer of mankind. Yes, we can't give up the future no matter what. This is not only the future, but also the future of mankind. Great. Woohoo. Peter jumped up happily in the screening room. Several adults looked at each other, and their faces were more or less, with a hint of smile. Asgard. Ha 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 ha. These stupid humans have done a rare smart thing. After moving back to his room from the dungeon, where he had lived for many years, Loki's most common thing was to hide in his room and watch the live broadcast alone. Anyway, for the Asgardians, in their impression, Loki's behavior is always mysterious and strange, and Loki's behavior just fits the impression of Loki in the hearts of the Asgardians. Strange destruction of the world. Thanos was a little surprised. Although he had expected this ending, this kind of united Earthlings. Earthlings. Thanos stood up suddenly. Yes, he remembered what he had forgotten. Earth. It's Earth. He forgot about the Earth. Thanos was shocked. He was the Eternal Titan, and his attributes were the ceiling below the god level. How could he even forget the Earth? Not to mention that there were the Time Stone and the Mind Stone on Earth. He had communicated with Strange a lot, so how could he forget? What did he forget? Father? Ebony Maw saw Thanos suddenly jump up, and then looked confused. He thought that as Thanos' most senior confidant, it was necessary to ask his master's thoughts. It's okay. The video continues. There are still 5 minutes before the Emperor's final ultimatum. The entire Earth seemed to be frozen, quietly waiting for the Emperor to come. As the clock hands reached the full hour, the Emperor's voice once again resounded around the world. So the Earthlings have violated my will? Imbeliza all over the world started at the same time, and guys from various countries collectively went out to fight with Imbeliza. Even if they died, they would never surrender to the invaders. The Earthlings must let the alien invasion know the backbone of the Earthlings. Then I will let you know how stupid and shallow you are. The seriously injured Mobius ran to the rooftop and shouted to Imbeliza, who was destroying the city. I'm here. Here. Looking at the phoenix in the sky, Mira injured the pain and summoned the Mobius. Mobius appeared on the battlefield, determined to die, and faced Imbeliza, as well as the master behind it, the one who once broke into the kingdom of light and almost plunged the entire universe into darkness. Future. Seeing Mobius appear on the battlefield, Director Sakumu directly ordered, surpass technology, lift the ban. A faint light emanated from the phoenix, and a terrifying energy wave condensed into a sharp sword to kill Imbeliza. In the previous combat power, this terrifying blow containing the energy of the entire phoenix has been proven in actual combat. It can completely blow up an Imbeliza with one shot. But at this time, a purple-black energy ball with a hint of dark red flew directly from outer space to the battlefield, easily offsetting the attack of the phoenix. Something is flying from the sky, followed by another purple-black-red energy ball. The energy ball flew over, just lightly brushed the phoenix, and shot down the indestructible phoenix on the spot. And Mobius was also affected by the aftermath of the energy ball, and was blown away on the spot. I am the Emperor Star. Stupid Earthlings, look carefully. This is the result of your choice. Laughing like a demon from the abyss, Imbeliza started the clearing mode after Mobius fell to the ground, and a series of light bombs exploded in the city, turning the beautiful city into ruins. The sun was sealed by black spots, and in a burning black flame, a figure watched all this happen. Ultraman Mobius. The haze of despair start broadcasting. Mobius woke up from his coma. Perhaps it was a blessing in disguise that Mobius was not affected by Imbeliza's attack. Imbeliza's skill just now could only be regarded as a sweep, not an AoE, which allowed Mobius to avoid further injury. Mobius tried to stand up, but he really had no strength. But he couldn't give up. His companions still needed him, and the people on Earth still needed him. Mobius, come on. Damn it. Ultra Warrior, come on. Stand up, Mobius. Can't lose. Mobius. Ryu, Marina, and George, who came out of the Phoenix, turned their heads and found that a group of citizens had gathered behind them. They were not warriors, they were just ordinary people, office workers, students, teachers, and housewives. But they didn't escape, but cheered for Mobius again, and gave Mobius his own strength. Mobius tried his best to burn his life, and finally used a Mobius explosion to blow the Imbeliza that was destroying the city to pieces. Then he could no longer hold on and was forced to exit Mebius' body and turned back into the human body. Hibino Mirai, Ryu, George, and Marina hurried over to help Mebius up. Don't move anymore. Wait here for the rescue team to come. If you don't rest well, you are not allowed to fight in the next battle no matter what. Looking at the crowd that surrounded him, Long stood up vigilantly. He really didn't dare to let people get in touch with the future. What if there was a bastard like that scum reporter mixed in? Mom, a little boy suddenly asked. Mebius is the brother, right? Yes. Hearing this, the little boy ran to the future, holding a rubber toy of Mebius, and said to the future, "Thank you." Hearing the boy's thanks, and looking at the grateful eyes of the people around him, a smile from the heart appeared on the haggard face of the future. He saw, he heard, he felt the bond between the Earthlings and himself. His sacrifice is worth it. The area of the obsidian seal on the sun is getting bigger and bigger. In the guy's base, Misaki told director Sakimu, "This is not a simple sunspot anomaly. The guy's space base has detected an unknown high energy reaction from the sunspot-like thing. And this high energy body is eroding the sun at an alarming rate. If this goes on, the sun will sooner or later." Chapter 393, The Coming of the Dark Emperor of the Universe. And at this time, another Inbelizer landed in a city 3 kilometers away from the guy's base. Perhaps the mastermind behind the scenes wanted to make the people of Earth feel despair again, but humans are no longer afraid. Inbelizer marched towards the guy's base, and the entire guy's army was on alert. Captain Sakumu said to the team members in the command room, "Respond to the hearts of the Ultra Warriors and respond to future efforts." In order not to disappoint the feelings of those who believe in the Ultra Warriors, the guy's base as a whole entered the highest state of alert. Silver shark cannons, missile towers, and the most powerful weapons of the defense forces of all generations were taken out like crazy, as if they were free. Guys Sally go. Gig. Amid the explosive music, Guys opened fire at Inbelizer with all his might, aiming countless shells at Inbelizer, as if they were free, knocking Inbelizer to the ground with just one encounter. But Inbelizer fired a drill to destroy the silver shark cannon the moment he fell, and at the moment this Inbelizer fell, another Inbelizer was teleported over. Activate flight mode. He wanted to activate flight mode, but a shell from Inbelizer blew up the flight engine, and the flight mode failed to activate. The particle accelerator was also damaged in the previous attack, and Nicholas could not be summoned. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang out, "I want to fight together too." It's the future. When Long saw the staggering future, he supported him and said angrily, "Are you really in your current physical condition?" People on Earth said that they need Ultraman Mebius and I want to respond to their feelings. Future looked at everyone in guys and said, "Besides, this is the place of memories for all of us." At this moment, Inbelizer once again activated the main gun. If this shot was successful, the entire guy's headquarters, future and everyone's place of memories would disappear with smoke. Swish. A sharp blade flashed, and the unparalleled Iron God Inbelizer instantly silenced. His entire body was cut in half from the middle and slowly fell down. After seeing this scene, the people who were almost desperate after being beaten by the Iron God were shocked. What happened? A huge samurai figure appeared in front of everyone, holding a huge samurai sword in his hand. It was he who just split Inbelizer in half. Zamsha. Okay. The atmosphere and emotions are contagious. Among the people in the screening room, there are many people like Peter who want to go in and help directly, but they can't do anything except watch. At this moment, a person appeared. That is Zamsha, who came to Earth with the Vantan people in the past to protect the existence of the sword. While Hikari was happy, he also remembered what King Ao said to Zamsha at that time. Go to Earth, you will get what you want, but you will also lose your life. Zamsha, will he die too? Seeing that Zamsha actually came back to help, Mirai looked at him through the big screen with gratitude. Seeming to feel the grateful eyes of the future, Zamsha looked at him coldly and said, "Don't get me wrong, you are the opponent I'm determined to kill." The future nodded fiercely. "I understand. Long used to like to talk to me like this." Just after Zamsha finished speaking, Inbelizer, who was cut in half by him, suddenly moved. But at this moment, the fragments of Inbeliza's body suddenly moved, and Zamshar immediately took a defensive posture, but the fragments of Inbeliza's body flew into the air, and then an explosion occurred, and all the fragments of the body were destroyed. Dead. Dead completely. Inbeliza, was he killed? Zepping said a little unbelievably when he saw this scene. Great, Inbeliza is finally dead. Zio didn't think so much. Anyway, as long as this unparalleled Iron God died, it would be a good thing. What's going on? Future said with a puzzled look on his face. He knew how powerful Inbeliza was. Every time he killed an Inbeliza, it was like dying once, but now he died so easily, and he didn't know what happened at all. Just then, because of the serious injury before, Future was unstable, and was about to fall. At this time, a light flashed, and a girl in JK appeared beside him, and supported him in time. It's you. Go over? Everyone saw the girl said with joy. Not only this girl, but also a strange looking alien also appeared here at the same time. Seeing the other party, Zepping said in surprise, Vanton, it turned out that you did it. Vanton said happily, you and I are friends. Thank you. Zepping hugged Vanton. Future also looked at the girl with gratitude. The girl said, I'm Future's sister. Emperor, see, this is the defense line we built. As if hearing Captain Sakimu's words, a flash of light appeared in the sky, and a huge burning fireball fell from the sky, with a diameter of more than 50 meters. In this big fireball, a dark and terrifying figure can be vaguely seen. This is the Dark Universe Emperor. The burning big fireball is actually not a fireball, but the spaceship of Emperor. It is dark and terrifying. Although it looks only about 50 meters in diameter, there is a very large space inside. The Emperor Star descended on the Earth in person, and the terrifying momentum immediately attracted everyone's attention. The relaxed and happy atmosphere that had just arisen because of the solution to Inbeliza and the arrival of strong reinforcement was immediately swept away. Everyone's face was serious, as if facing a great enemy. Zamshar also looked at the descending Dark Emperor Star with a vigilant face, with the star slashing pull in front of him, and instinctively made a defensive posture. In the city, countless buildings exploded, flames burned, and the entire city instantly turned into a sea of fire. As soon as the Dark Emperor landed on the ground, it immediately caused an earthquake. Buildings collapsed, bridges broke, and explosions occurred one after another, as if it was the end of the world. The entire city was instantly destroyed and turned into a sea of fire because of the arrival of Emperor Star. Looking at this horrible scene, everyone fell into a dead silence. He is Emperor Star. I almost laughed like a fool when I wrote Deadpool. Chapter 394, The Terrifying Emperor Alien. Is this the Amperman? The holographic simulation mode was turned on again. Everyone in the screening room faced the terrifying pressure of Amperla. A sense of despair in the face of darkness filled everyone's hearts. The first person to react was Hikari. He emitted a warm light that dispelled the darkness in everyone's hearts. Peter was the second to react after Hikari. He said with lingering fear, this Amperman is too terrifying. Yes, for such a powerful enemy, the Kingdom of Light must have paid a painful price to defeat him. Bruce Wayne was in a better state, as if he was not affected at all. Hikari looked at the one on the screen who carried the meaning of darkness. No, it was the dark clouds and darkness that followed him. The terrifying dark man who dominated the world recalled the day 10,000 years ago. On that day, it was also this person who entered the Kingdom of Light with a black longsword. And after 10,000 years, this guy has become even more terrifying. I'm the ruler of darkness, O Father of Ultra, people of the Kingdom of Light. It is finally time to settle the old accounts of 30,000 years ago. The Emperor Man touched the part of his waist where Otto's father had cut him 10,000 years ago, 3 centimeters above his appendix, and made a huge sound that spread to every corner of the earth. Watch, the sun is almost burned out, the Emperor Man said, pointing at the sun and activating his ability. The sunspots on the sun expanded rapidly and soon covered the entire sun completely. The sun, which was still emitting light and heat, lost its light in an instant and turned into a black dead object. This is the Emperor Man's extraordinary telekinesis, which can interfere with the laws of nature. He just quickly exhausted the energy inside the sun, causing a sunspot like obsidian to appear on the surface of the sun that was enough to resist light and heat. This is his way to eliminate light. He wanted to do more than that. After the sun was sealed by him, the earth also suffered. The originally clear sky was suddenly covered with thunderclouds, which enveloped the entire earth, and the sky and the earth became dark. The Emperor Star pointed to the sky with one hand and the ground with the other, as if he was the only one in the world. From now on, all light will be blocked, and the breath of this planet will be cut off. The Emperor Star's terrifying voice sounded. He couldn't stand the existence of any light, even the light generated by the flames caused by the explosion he caused in the city. He couldn't tolerate it, and with a wave of his cloak, a strong wind was formed, which extinguished the flames burning in the entire city. There was no more light between heaven and earth. Ultra warriors, people of the kingdom of light, together with the lives that made foolish choices, fall into the darkness of hell and perish. He stood between heaven and earth and made a terrifying voice. Since I have come here, there is no future for this world. Seeing that Emperor was terrified to the extreme, the will to resist in the hearts of the people did not diminish, but they were even more willing than they were able to. Emperor, take it. Zamsha rushed towards Emperor with a brand new star-slashing pill in his hand. A swordsman will not be afraid and will not leave his back to the enemy. The scar on the swordsman's back is a shame. But before Zamsha rushed to Emperor raised one hand and sent out a powerful dark shock wave to knock Zamsha away. Even with Zamsha's willpower, he couldn't help but scream and finally fell heavily to the ground. However, the past who saw this scene immediately identified what kind of move Emperor used to knock Zamsha away. This move is called heavy energy fluctuation. In theory, it is also a kind of telekinesis, which is similar to her ability. She immediately helped Zamsha. Looking at the direction where Emperor was, she activated her telekinesis, and her eyes turned red. As soon as her telekinetic attack was launched, Emperor immediately sensed it. He made an angry sound, as if he was offended by a small insect. A more powerful telekinesis directly attacked the past, knocking her out, hitting the wall, and falling to the ground. Compared with the Emperor Star who can seal the sun with telekinesis, the past and the future are really a pair of stubborn siblings made in heaven. Past, are you okay? Everyone hurriedly helped the past up and asked worriedly. Damn it. Seeing how powerful the Emperor Star was, Long wanted to use the remote control to control the turret outside to attack, but the Emperor Star seemed to be able to predict the turret's attack and directly blow up the turret with a heavy energy wave. Zamsha alone was no match for the Emperor Star, and was constantly beaten away by the opponent's heavy energy wave, and kept screaming. Seeing this scene, the future couldn't bear it anymore and said, I want to fight. After saying this, he ignored the injuries on his body and the exhausted energy, raised his wrist and immediately activated the Mebius aura, but he didn't transform successfully. The Mebius aura flashed and disappeared directly after the energy was exhausted. How could this happen? The future said desperately. The injuries on his body and the successive blows made him unable to hold on any longer. Before he finished speaking, his body fell down. Everyone hurriedly supported him and put him on a chair to rest. No mercy for those who resist. The battle outside was still going on. No, it should be a one-sided beating. Zamsha was hit by more than a dozen heavy energy fluctuations and was seriously injured. Emperor once again condensed a stronger heavy energy fluctuation, wanting to completely kill Zamsha and destroy the guy's base at the same time, killing the bugs who dared to resist him. The heavy energy fluctuations had already bombarded, but at this critical moment, a blue figure suddenly appeared, blocking in front of Zamsha, and using his body to help him block the heavy energy wave attack. Ultraman Hickory. However, the heavy energy fluctuations of Emperor were so powerful that, even if Hickory took this blow, he was seriously injured and fainted. Is it someone from the Kingdom of Light? Ultraman Hickory. Captain Serizawa. When the guy's people saw Hickory appear, they were immediately knocked unconscious. They didn't know whether they were dead or alive, and they all screamed in shock. Long had the deepest feelings for Captain Serizawa. Seeing Captain Serizawa was also knocked unconscious, he shouted angrily, damn it, is there nothing we can do? Are we at a loss? After saying that, he angrily rushed to the hangar and took off in his fighter. No matter what, he had to fight with the Empola people. Absolutely not, just sit there and wait to die. Just after he took off, the Emperor people waved his cloak again, and suddenly a strong wind raged, attacking the entire airport. All the planes exploded under the opponent's attack. Fortunately, Long took off early, otherwise, they would also explode under the attack of the Emperor people. Amid the frequent explosions, Long flew into the sky in his fighter. We must defend it, protect our place of memories, protect our Earth. Just use my wings. He roared loudly, and flew towards the direction of Emperor. It seemed that he heard Long's roar, and Hikari, who had just been knocked unconscious, woke up. He immediately released the Nightlight Sword, and rushed towards Emperor. Zamsha also stood up, while enduring the severe pain from his body, waving the star-slashing ball, and slashing at Emperor. Specium Ballistic Missile, launch. Long pressed the missile launch button, and several powerful missiles exploded in front of Emperor, but were blocked by Emperor with a telekinetic barrier, and the explosion of the missile did not cause any harm to him. At the same time, Hikari's Nightlight Sword and Zamsha's star-slashing ball had also stabbed at Emperor, but at this moment, Emperor raised his left hand, and the heavy energy wave was launched again, which immediately blocked the joint attack of Hikari and Zamsha, and firmly controlled their weapons in their hands, preventing them from moving forward at all. How could this happen? Seeing this scene, Long said in shock. The missile bombardment, and the joint efforts of Hikaru and Zamsha, were equivalent to 3 attacks in an instant, but none of them could hurt Emperor at all. Zamsha. Hikaru turned his head and shouted. Talk about it later, if you have anything to say, Zamsha said, and then used all his strength to try to stab the star-slash pill into Emperor's body, but the other party blocked their joint attack with just one left hand. No matter how hard they tried, they could not move forward at all. Then Emperor pushed lightly, and the heavy energy wave in his hand burst out. Hikari and Zamsha were immediately blown away by the powerful energy, and fell heavily to the ground. The star-slash pill that Zamsha never left behind flew out of his hand. He was seriously injured, and didn't even have the strength to grab the star-slash pill. Emperor laughed up to the sky, and then another heavy energy wave hit Zamsha's body, knocking him out again. Emperor continued to use heavy energy waves to attack the guy's base. The entire guy's base exploded and collapsed violently, and several people were injured. It took a while for the explosion and collapse to stop. They hurried to save each other and check the casualties. Fortunately, there were not many injured, but what worries them most is that a big hole was blown out of the room where they were hiding, and they can clearly see the Emperor star on the opposite side from the hole. For the time being, let's set it as 5 chapters of Ultra Legend per day and 2000 words per day for crazy diversity. Chapter 395, Death of Zamsha. Is this the strength of the Dark Emperor? Even stacking boxes can reveal how terrifying Emperor's strength is. The two powerful swordsmen Hikari and Zamsha use their full strength to attack together with the Specium missiles. Even Emperor's defense could not be broken. You must know that Emperor has not even had any attack since it came to the Earth. Taking a step forward, he had only one action from beginning to end, simply pushing his hands forward to release telekinesis and energy waves. How on earth did you defeat such a powerful enemy back then? Bruce Wayne couldn't even figure it out. Emperor's power and the despair it brought to them almost exceeded everyone's expectations. At that time, it was the father of Ultra who brought the Ultra Holy Sword to activate the true power in his body and then defeated the Emperor planet. Hikari recalled the past story. Moreover, after 10,000 years, Emperor will probably be stronger. Yes, the father of Ultra. Peter noticed the blind spot. Where are the father of Ultra and the other Ultra brothers? They should be blocked in the Kingdom of Light. Emperor claims to be the Emperor. You have also seen that there are countless vicious cosmic beings who want to join Emperor's army. The strength of its army is also one of the best in the entire universe. It is said that the magma fleet that once destroyed the L-77 Nebula is here, in front of the Emperor army. Just like the bandits in front of the regular army, they were hung up and beaten without any power to fight back. The Emperor aliens probably sent their army to the Kingdom of Light and came to the Earth in person. We must first destroy the most important place in the hearts of our Ultra warriors, and then deal with the Kingdom of Light. Video continues. Everyone looks nervously at the Emperor star through the big hole in the wall. Also lock them. The Emperor Star decisively stretched out his left hand and fired another heavy energy wave towards them. Even Zamsha and Hikari were killed and fainted in the face of such an attack. If Guise was really beaten, if successful, it would be difficult to leave the whole body intact. Kishu and the others instinctively raised their arms to defend themselves, but they were not attacked and everyone was alive and well. Kishu looked back and saw a huge figure appearing at the entrance of the cave, blocking them. This fatal blow. That is Zamsha. You are not from the Kingdom of Light. Why do you do this? Zamsha's behavior also made Emperor very confused. He was in the dark and could not understand Zamsha's behavior. Forget it. People from the Kingdom of Light. In Emperor it seems that the people in the Kingdom of Light have abnormal brains. They have strong power not to do whatever they want, but to maintain the order of the universe. The strong should control the weak. Life and death are all decided by the strong. You have to abide by the rules, even if you have great power. If someone offends you, you don't just kill him to prove your dignity as a strong man, but instead you try to reason with them. How ridiculous is this? Zamsha's whole body was shaking. He was in pain. As a warrior and a swordsman, the scar on his back should be a shame, but for the first time Zamsha didn't feel that way. Zamsha looked at Mobius and said with difficulty with the last of his life, "This is the so-called protection, Mobius." Zamsha once again recalled the old man's treatment of him. "If you say that, you may die. It's not a loss, haha, it's not a loss." After saying the last words, Zamsha's body collapsed to the ground. Amidst Future's cry of grief, Zamsha smiled and turned into countless golden light spots, floating in the air. "How dare you kill Zamsha?" Hikari had already regarded Zamsha as his companion. Hikari turned his grief into strength and fired a night ray towards Emperor, but this was a fatal blow. This move destroyed the GZZ star. It could also kill Bimonstein, but it was blocked by Emperor with a casual wave. During this period, Emperor didn't even make a single unnecessary movement. He just watched quietly, then raised his hand to block it. "It's useless," Emperor said disdainfully, even calmly. He was like looking at a bug that kept jumping around, but had no power to fight back, and was being played with by himself. Then Emperor casually shot a heavy energy wave and bombarded Hikari, just like swatting a bug. The final power of a base star, representing Hikari's clear heart, was the armor of the brave here. After one move, he was finally overwhelmed and was blown to pieces. However, thanks to the protection of the brave armor, he was able to save his life and was not killed directly like Zamsha. The energy in Hikari's body is almost exhausted, and the power timer on his chest emits a red light and a warning sound. Hikari's body is covered with burns, and his skin is in tatters. This is almost impossible for people who have suffered various attacks, but have little physical appearance. For an Ultra Warrior, the scars can almost be seen from the front. At this moment, Hikari's body is covered with scars. Hikari ignored his injuries and stood up with difficulty. "Abo." Hikari muttered Abe's name silently and said his final farewell. Then he used the last bit of strength in his body to grab Zamsha's stars and win and kill Emperor. "Thank you." Hikari seized a moment and missed the opponent. After fighting for such a long time, they finally attacked Emperor. Successful. Before long could be happy to attack Emperor, he heard Captain Serizawa's voice. The attack just now was already a blow made by Hikari, who exhausted his last strength and life. Now he has run out of gas, kneeling on the ground, and his voice rang out, "Dragon, Mobius and the earth are entrusted to you." The Night Sora turned into a ray of light and disappeared, and then, he transformed Hikari's body. Only a Hosh's Hanmaru is stuck on the ground, proving the existence of Hikari. Captain Serizawa Long shouted loudly, driving the fighter jet, and swooping down towards Emperor. He was going to attack again. Emperor looked at a wound on his thigh. He was angry and a little shocked. His body was injured again by this group of people from the Kingdom of Light. You must know that the father of Ultra died with his life at that time. The most powerful holy sword in the country had just cut into his waist, but according to the intelligence, the guy who was just a scientist could actually hurt himself with a knife. Even if the knife itself was extraordinary, it was very rare. If he were a swordsman, he might choose to fight more with Hikari, or feel sorry for Hikari. But he is not. He is the Emperor, the Supreme Emperor, the Emperor who rules the world, the Dark Emperor of the universe, the Emperor Star. Emperor saw the swooping suicide attack fighter jet, raised his hand slightly, and a heavy energy wave bombarded it, and the fighter jet exploded in the air. Dragon. The sun at this moment has been completely shrouded in sunspots, and there is no longer a trace of light that can shine on the ground. Ultraman Mebius, the haze of despair end. Play Ultraman Mebius heartfelt words now. Chapter 396. When despair falls, the voice of hope will also sound. Looking at the dragon that launched a suicide attack, Wanda suddenly asked in the barrage. Wanda, Father Ultra and the Kingdom of Light are blocked by Emperor's army, so what about King Ultra? Is he also entangled by something? Ace, King. He generally won't take action. Ace, Emperor's invasion of the Earth and the Kingdom of Light are indeed a big deal for the people on Earth and the Kingdom of Light, but for the King, these are all things that happened in this universe. The King has to protect this universe, not the creatures of a certain planet. If Emperor wants to destroy our universe, the King will of course take action, but he is only attacking the Earth and the Kingdom of Light. It would be great if the King is willing to take action. If the King does not take action, we have no choice. Ace, we are grateful that the King is willing to protect our universe, so how can we ask him to protect us? Jonathan Osterman, Drive Manhattan. In my opinion, the Ultra King is also a high-dimensional life form like me. Protecting this universe is for better survival. He can even completely ignore this timeline and create another timeline. You are just characters in the book to us. Saving you is meaningless. Ultraman Mebius finale heartfelt words on air. Future saw this scene and screamed in pain. In such a violent explosion, it was impossible for Long to survive. That was Long, his most important partner, the most important person. How dare you kill my most important person? Future, I'm still alive. Long's voice suddenly rang between heaven and earth. Huh. After hearing this voice, Future and others were all surprised. How come Long was still alive when the fighter plane exploded? The voice of the dragon also reached Emperor's ears. He turned around and looked up at the sky. He saw a strong light suddenly shining down from the rolling thunderclouds. It hurt Emperor's eyes so much that he had to cover his eyes with his hands. In this light, a blue Ultraman fell from the sky. Ultraman Hickory? Everyone looked at the Ultraman in front of them in surprise. It was Hickory, but Hickory had just died in the battle. How could he be resurrected? Dragon. Mary said happily. He saw the other party's identity. At this time, Ultraman Hickory was dominated by the consciousness of the dragon. How could I die so easily? Captain Sarazawa entrusted you and the Earth to me. As the dragon spoke, he released the Knight's lightsaber and then killed Emperor. Just Emperor raised his left hand. Heavy energy fluctuations in his hand immediately blocked the attack of Hickory dominated by the dragon. Hickory kept swinging the lightsaber, performing the blind girl swordsmanship, trying to break through the opponent's defense, even if it was just like Captain Sarazawa, leaving a scar on the opponent. But it was useless. Emperor just used telekinesis to control the dragon tightly, and the heavy energy fluctuations were released, which immediately hit Hickory and kept retreating. The power timer on his chest turned red and kept sounding the alarm. This was just the beginning, and the power was about to run out. Dragon. Seeing this, the Future was extremely anxious and was about to transform and rush out to deal with Emperor together. The others held the Future tightly and said, Future, don't be impulsive, you are still injured. But, if this goes on, Future was unmoved. He was now full of worries. Long was his most important teammate, and Hickory was also his brother. No matter what, he could not watch the other party fight alone. If this continued, the final result could be imagined. The strong anger and fighting spirit and the worry about Long turned into a powerful force in his body, making Future emit a strong red light. At the same time, Emperor launched a fierce attack on Hickory again, wanting to completely kill the dragon version of Hickory. At this time, he suddenly seemed to sense something. Looking back, he saw a figure flashing by. He didn't even see the other party's true face. The figure flew past him and rescued Hickory, who was being attacked. Emperor looked back again, and Hickory, who had just been attacked, had disappeared. He was rescued by someone, and the one who rescued him was Ultraman Mebius. The energy for Mebius transformation should be running out, the past said with doubt and excitement. Director Sakumu said with a relieved smile on his face. Miri said that he would never give up until the end and would make the impossible possible. That's the Ultra Warrior. After hearing Director Sakumu's words, everyone's eyes were once again filled with the light of hope. The two Ultramen Hikari and Mebius looked at each other and then launched a ray attack at the same time. Hikari's Blue Night Ray and Mebius's Mebium Ray were sent to Emperor at the same time. After the two ray energy attacks were sent out, they instantly merged into one attack, the Mebium Night Ray. This move is called double attack shot because it sounds too ugly. I changed it. The power of the two combined skills is not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, especially after gathering the faith of Mirai and Long. The power is even more explosive. But Emperor was completely unmoved and did not even dodge. Seeing the light of Mebius Night, he waved his dark cloak and with a single roll, he rolled the powerful combined light attack into the cloak. Then he shook the cloak, and the light energy drifted away. The powerful attack was thus eliminated by Emperor. Receive, transform, and launch. The combined attack of Mebius and Hikari finally caused Emperor to move his feet and turn around. That was all. Not to mention scars, there was not even a spark. Emperor was very calm, saying these desperate words without any emotion. You still have the ability to resist. Although you defeated the 4 kings who came to play with you, everything is over. While speaking, Emperor raised his right hand high, and countless lightning and the dense thunderclouds in the sky gathered towards the palm of his hand. In just a blink of an eye, a powerful black and red energy ball gathered in his palm, emitting powerful energy. Then Emperor turned this energy ball into an arc-shaped light spear and stabbed Mebius fiercely. This is the real Rosalem Ray, which is the ultimate killer move against Ultraman that Emperor spent 10,000 years developing. It is specially used to restrain Ultraman and has a special effect on the Ultra family. It can decompose the Ultra family at the light particle level. This is equivalent to decomposing a human being at the cellular level. Mebius screamed miserably. Seeing this, Hikari was very anxious and rushed forward to attack Emperor to interrupt the opponent's attack. But Emperor released a series of energy bullets from his left hand, which made Hikari unable to get close, let alone attack. Just like that, in the desperate eyes of everyone, Mebius's entire body was broken up and decomposed into the smallest cosmic particles. The situation that seemed to have improved a little just now deteriorated to the extreme again. Facing the powerful Emperor star, it seemed that there was no hope of victory at all. Now you understand, the Ultraman family will never win. Emperor looked down at Hikari and said lightly. After hearing Emperor's words, Hikari clenched his fists tightly. He wanted to attack and fight, but the energy in his body had been exhausted. The power timer on his chest had already turned red and issued a rapid alarm. He used up all the strength in his body and could only raise his finger and point at Emperor and ask a question. What did you do to our future? The energy of the dragon version of Hikari was exhausted, and his body disappeared. The battlefield, which looked like a ruin, was dead silent. I said that no one can be sacrificed. Go out and rescue them. The old bird couldn't stand such dead silence and despair, and said angrily. The others seemed to have found the backbone, and several people immediately went out to help. No matter whether they could help or not, as long as they moved, it would be fine. Father of Ultra, regretted, the future of the Earth, that you called irreplaceable is finally cut off. Emperor said arrogantly, but he also had the capital to be arrogant. Several Ultraman and Zamshid joined forces to besiege him, but they didn't hurt him. Instead, they were all killed by him. Ryu, cheer up. The guy's team members quickly found Long and rescued him, but when they went to look for the future again, they couldn't find it. Teppei shouted loudly, but there was still no response. Long knelt on the ground helplessly, shedding tears of pain and saying self-blamingly, again, nothing is saved. George said, even the future is lost. Zairoheo, who was always full of energy, said in despair at this moment, everything is over. The earth and the sun. Marina also shed tears of despair. She looked at the earth. The ground was completely in ruins. The sky was also wrapped in rolling thunderclouds. The sun had now completely lost its light and heat, and turned into a dead object. A desperate scene. Everyone lost their fighting spirit. Do you really think so? Are you really going to give up? Give up your future? But at this moment, a huge voice rang in their ears. Chapter 397 Infinite Phoenix, Fire of Bond, and Phoenix-like indelible friendship. That voice is, Ace, it's me. No, it's Bidal. Ace, this is Bidal's voice. Since Bidal is here, the Ultra Brothers are here. Wanda, great. The Ultra Brothers are here, so the future and the Earth are saved. The Land of Light. All the Ultramen were shocked by the terrifying power of the Rosalim Ray of the Emperor Star. This skill that can attack Ultramen from the light particle level is simply the ultimate killer move for their Ultramen. According to the description of the projection room, this skill was developed by the Emperor Star for tens of thousands of years to deal with the Ultraman family of the Land of Light. Father Ultra looked at the screen, where Mebius was decomposed by the Rosalim Ray, and began to hesitate whether to send the child Mebius to Earth. Indeed, according to his prediction of the projection room, it is more likely that Mebius will not get into trouble. He also knows that flowers in a greenhouse cannot grow without facing the wind and frost. But there must be a degree. Obviously, the Emperor Star is obviously beyond this limit. Emperor Star, this is a powerful enemy that he fought hard to defeat. Even now, he dare not say that he can easily defeat the Emperor of the past. What's more, 10,000 years is a very long time for the people of the Land of Light. He knows very well how much his strength has improved in the past 10,000 years. It is impossible for Emperor to sleep for 10,000 years. In addition to the special attack on the Ultraman family, Emperor may have prepared more backups. Mebius is just a new warrior. For Emperor, he is a baby, a child. Father Ao can be sure that Emperor will never use all his backups to deal with a young warrior like Mebius. He is Emperor, not Magma, Baba or Zerub. He has to have face. Mebius is just an appetizer, a charge horn to launch a general attack on the Land of Light. The person he really wants to deal with is himself. Ultra Father can completely judge the strength of Emperor by using his own level as an imaginary enemy. After a simple judgment, Ultra Father is very sure that if Emperor goes all out, it will only take a few seconds for the entire solar system to be blown up. Now the only thing that is certain is that Mebius has the help of the Light Country Ultraman. If Mebius in the projection is not saved in the end, then he must summon Mebius back before Emperor comes to Earth. The video continues. Who is this voice? Marina raised her head sharply and looked around to find the voice. As a superhuman with super hearing, Marina was the first to hear this voice. After hearing this voice, the others also became energetic, because this familiar voice was the voice of Bidal, an old senior. You should have heard the voice of a companion who believed in victory, even if he is not around now, and fought side by side. Marina, partner. Don't look away, the future of the Earth is entrusted to you. This time it was Gohidika's voice and Jack's voice. George, the future of the Earth. No matter what kind of powerful enemy we face, we will be with you. This is what you let us know. This time it was Moriboshi Tuan. It was Seven's voice. Zio, we are here. Go save our brother. As long as you establish a good bond, you will be able to protect the Earth. Finally, it was the voice of Hayatashin, the first Ultraman to descend on Earth. Teppei, yes, we can. Ryu heard it, George heard it, Marina heard it, Teppei heard it, Zio heard it, Captain Sakamizu, Misaki, Toriyama, Meru. They all heard it. All the guys members heard their voices and felt their presence. They are the Ultra Brothers, the warriors who once fought to protect the Earth. At this moment, the light of hope burned again in everyone's eyes. Ryu, cheer up. George, we must hold on to the end. Teppei together with Mirai. Zio, you should have heard what I said just now. Look. Marina, please lend me a hand for our final battle. At this time, the knight's wristband appeared on Ryu's wrist, and Mirai's voice came from it. Future. Hearing Mirai's voice, Ryu cheered up immediately. This was Mirai's voice. Mirai was not dead yet, and Mirai still existed. In a space of light, Ryu looked at Mirai standing in front of him happily and said, "What's wrong with you?" The knight's wristband is something given by the legendary Superman Ultra King who possesses miraculous power. Moreover, Hikari also said that the knight's wristband will definitely be useful in the battle that will eventually come. Is there anything we can do? Yes. Mirai nodded with a firm look. I understand. Let's go together. Ryu felt the responsibility on him. Long stood up, looked at the 4 companions around him, and said, "The 5 of us, let's go together." The 5 people turned around and looked at the Emperor Starman. At this time, there was no fear in their eyes. For these little bugs, Emperor did not take them seriously, but looked up at the sky. Through the clouds, his eyes reached the space and saw a group of Ultra Warriors appearing around the sun, constantly releasing light energy to clean up the sunspot matter on the sun. They want to wake up the sun. The first generation and Jack used double specium rays, Ace and 7 used metallium rays and beam rays respectively. At the same time, the few little bugs that Emperor had ignored, Long, Teppei, George, Zio and Marina, 5 people stretched out their hands and stacked them together. In the end, there was a 6th hand emitting light. This was the hand of the future, and he was also with them. The 6 people are connected in mind. Each member of Guys represents an Ultra brother. They will do their best to fight for the Earth, for humanity, and for the future. The Knight's wristband and the Mebius wristband glow at the same time. The blue and red lights intertwine and entangle with each other, and the strong light envelops the 6 people. Seeing this, Pyoshu shouted loudly, "Guys, Sally, go, Gig, Mebius. When the gathered stars become one, the new bond will illuminate the future." In the sacred singing, the holy phoenix fire bursts out from the void, bringing the light of hope to this dark world. This is the light that makes the Dark Emperor close his eyes and cannot look directly at it. This is the flame of hope that bursts out from the bond between humans and Ultraman, the flame of the future. In the flames, there seemed to be a Mobius ring, which was the infinitely linked friendship ring between humans and Ultraman, and the red and blue giant was the legendary Phoenix Warrior. Ultraman Mebius, Infinite Phoenix. Starman Emperor, you can't win. Infinite Phoenix and Emperor looked at each other from a distance, because the Phoenix is engraved on my body. This is the symbol of the eternal bond between our Ultraman and humans. This is the fire of friendship and bond that never stops like the Phoenix. Didn't I say that Ultra Warriors can't win? Emperor said a little angrily, pointing one finger to the sky to condense the thundercloud again, and a ray of Rosalem light shot towards the Infinite Phoenix. It's just a member of the Ultraman clan. I'm the Dark Emperor. I'm the ruler of darkness, and all light disappears in front of me. A slightly charged Rosalem ray attacked the Infinite Phoenix, but the Rosalem ray that had once destroyed Mebius was defeated this time. Not to mention killing the Infinite Phoenix, it didn't even hurt it. A blue-red shield blocked the Rosalem ray. The Infinite Phoenix's chest trembled, and the Rosalem ray exploded all the way back to Emperor's right hand, and Emperor's entire right hand was backlashed. Don't you understand, Emperor? I'm not fighting alone now. Infinite Phoenix shouted loudly, making the common voice of 6 people. They held hands and communicated with each other. This is the power of unity. O clan of light, why are you not afraid of darkness? Why are you not afraid of this wonderful world dominated by darkness and silence? Emperor looked at the Ultraman who was getting braver and braver in front of him, and questions arose in his heart. Not only Dragon and Mirai are fighting, the Ultra brothers are also working hard to save the sun. Leo and Gia Stratiger used the Ultra Fusion Spark, and Taro's long charged stream ray swept through one sunspot area after another. There are more Ultra Warriors from the Land of Light coming to the battlefield. Director Sakumi came to a secret space in the base, took out a chip key, inserted it into the keyhole, and pressed the button. Final Transcendence technology unlocked. With his voice, it seems that some powerful weapon has been unlocked. Above the rolling clouds, a ray of light flew quickly, even attracting the attention of Emperor. He looked at the light, pierced through the clouds directly, flew towards him, and finally stopped in midair. This is an unknown weapon, and he saw that the weapon turned into something like a satellite and a super magnifying glass. What is that? The old bird asked puzzledly. That is the Final Transcendence technology that can amplify the energy of specium. Miki explained. Final Transcendence technology. Yes, the ultimate transcendence technology of mankind is not a super bomb that can blow up the solar system, but the specium energy amplifier, a device used to develop specium energy. The fundamental purpose of transcendence technology, the ultimate transcendence technology, is what mankind has prepared to respond to the hearts of the Ultra Warriors. In the infinite dream, there is also a part of Hikari and the bond between humans and companions. It doesn't make sense to call it Mebius directly, so I might as well call it Infinite Phoenix. I have written Ultra Galaxy Legend, but I didn't follow the original plot. Just like my hometown is Earth, they are all secondary creations written by me. The outline remains unchanged, but the rest is different. Stay tuned. Chapter 398, Mebius and Easter egg. I'm going to kill you with a knife. Captain Sakumu's voice crossed the space and reached the ears of the Infinite Phoenix. Everyone, use the Mebium Night Ray to shoot the Specium Energy Amplifier. The Infinite Phoenix immediately gathered energy and swung the Night Ray with his left hand and the Mebium Ray with his right hand. After a little preparation, he released the Mebium Night Ray. After the red and blue particle rays passed through the Specium Energy Amplifier, they were instantly amplified thousands of times. The light energy like a shower washed Emperor fiercely like a flood. As strong as Emperor was, under such an almost endless light energy attack, he could only use his hands and cloak to block the attack, and could only defend himself without the ability to attack at all. At the same time, the Ultra Warriors were about to revive the sun, and the grand voice of Ultra Father came from the sky. Emperor, the light of the sun shining on the earth will not disappear. While resisting the light attack, Emperor said with difficulty, Ultra Father, why are you so nosy? Save our lives. Illuminated by the sun, only darkness can create an eternal world. It is because of light that there is darkness, and it is because of the existence of darkness that there is light. Ultra Father responded. At this time, the efforts of the Ultra Warriors finally succeeded. The sunspots on the sun completely disappeared, and it emitted infinite light and heat again. Infinite Phoenix also became more and more courageous. His Mebium Night Light seemed endless. This came from the common belief of the six of them. We firmly believe in victory, and have fought side by side until now, Marina. Yes, the future of the Earth is now entrusted to us, George. As long as we are here, and never give up in the face of any difficulties, Zioheo, we will definitely be able to hold on to the Earth. Teppei. That's right, there is no dream we can't hold on to, and no future we can't reach. Ryu. Mirai didn't speak, but quietly looked at the Emperor Star. At this moment, sound is better than silence. Everyone has an extremely firm confidence in victory. It is with such a belief in victory that they can burst out such a powerful fighting power. Believe it. Believe in our strength. Believe in our future. Director. Sakamizu. Sakamizu. At this moment, a light appeared beside Sakamizu. It was a familiar energy. A voice came from the light. Sakamizu, let's go together. They need our strength. Yeah. Captain Sakamizu nodded heavily. Captain Sakamizu walked towards the light. In the days to come, he was invincible and invincible. A dazzling light lit up, and Ultraman Zoffy made his grand appearance. The light appeared before he arrived. A blue light blasted towards the Emperor Star. The strongest light in the Kingdom of Light, M87 light. The torrent of light attacks bombarding Emperor became larger and more fierce. Emperor wanted to use the power of his cloak to block these light energies, but this endless light energy was simply too much and too powerful. Even if his cloak had a very strong light resistance, it could not block it at this time. In the end, the cloak broke, and Emperor could only use his body to resist these light attacks. Everyone, let's do it again. Go. This is the last time we fight side by side. Under the captain's command, Infinite Phoenix pulled his right hand from the wrist to the elbow. This was the full-out Mebium Night Ray. The powerful torrent of light energy seriously injured Emperor, and he even knelt on the ground unable to withstand the powerful attack. However, he stood up again with great willpower. I'm the Emperor of Darkness. How can I lose to the Light Clan? Emperor resolutely refused to move. He is the Emperor, the great Emperor of Darkness of the universe. Emperor. How could he avoid the attack of a junior? How could he avoid the attack of a junior who is hundreds of thousands of years younger than him? Absolutely not. This is his dignity. This is his dignity as the Emperor of Darkness. Rather die than lose the dignity of the Emperor. I'm the Emperor of Darkness. How can I give up to the Ultra Clan of the Kingdom of Light for nothing? Emperor completely gave up defense and relied on his body to withstand wave after wave of light attacks. His pride would never allow him to avoid. Everyone, take this opportunity. The Infinite Phoenix used the Mebius breath in the left hand and the Night breath in the right hand to activate energy at the same time. The two combined, raised both arms high, and used the Mebius breath and Night breath to energize his body. The Infinite Phoenix turned into a hot and dazzling flame, a flame of hope. Mebius Infinite Phoenix. This is the strongest killer move of Ultraman Mebius Phoenix Brave form. The flame rushed forward and violently passed through the Specium energy amplifier. The flame energy was also amplified thousands of times, but because of its great power, even the Specium energy amplifier could not withstand such a great power. After passing through, the amplifier disintegrated. The flame energy directly penetrated Emperor's body. Just like sunlight will eventually penetrate darkness, Emperor was severely injured. His body was swaying, and he could hardly stand steadily. Light kept shining out of the wounds on his body. He wanted to cover it with his hands, but he couldn't cover it, no matter how hard he tried. Why is it the Ultra Warriors? Emperor muttered to himself, as if he suddenly woke up again. I didn't lose to the Ultra Warriors, that's right, I lost to the tiny light called Hope. Did I lose to the bond between humans and Ultra Warriors? Emperor's body was covered with countless wounds, and light kept emitting from these wounds, as if the light was his blood, as if as long as the blood ran out, he would die. In the end, not only his body, but also his 7 orifices, there was light shining out. At this time, Emperor already knew that he was dead. I will turn into light. Darkness is nothing more than light that is tightly bound. Emperor Starman, the terrifying existence that once brought endless darkness to the universe, also turned into light at this moment. These lights are the light of Emperor Star, the light of everyone on Emperor Star. These lights have always been stored in Emperor's body. Emperor Starman is indeed Emperor Starman. As soon as Emperor finished speaking, his entire body was swallowed by the light, and finally disappeared completely, turning into scattered stars. In space, the Ultra Warriors finally restored the sun to its original state, and infinite light and heat shone on the earth. The rolling thunder clouds dissipated in an instant, and the sun shone on the earth. People who had originally hidden in the bunkers and underground spaces also came out one after another, bathing in the warm sunshine. Looking at the dazzling light, Misaki smiled and said, "The sun is out again. Father Ultra, can you hear me? The important things that only I can feel are now deeply hidden in my heart." Mirai muttered in his heart. He stood with a group of Guy's members, looking at Ultraman Zoffy and Ultraman Hikari standing opposite them, with deep reluctance in his eyes. Yes, the enemy has been eliminated, and it is time to say goodbye. After fighting together for such a long time, they have already developed a very deep relationship with each other, and they are reluctant to separate. The Guy's members appeared on the road together, looking at the two Ultramen. Captain Sakamizu and Zoffy looked at each other and smiled. Long looked at Hikari in front of him with a firm gaze and said, "Don't worry, we are here. We will definitely protect the Earth." After hearing this, Ultraman Zoffy and Hikari nodded, then turned around and left, flying away from the Earth. Captain Sakamizu put his hand on Mirai's shoulder and said, "Now you can also join the ranks of the Ultra Brothers." Mirai handed his communicator to Captain Sakamizu, which also had a flame painted on it. Because of Inbeliza, Mirai said goodbye to his friends, but did not give Captain Sakamizu a gift. Now they are about to leave, and the Guy's communicator that was about to be handed in has become a parting gift. The last battle is over, and I have a new mission. I will pass on the important things I have gained with the people on this planet to the Ultra Warriors of the Kingdom of Light. After hearing Future's words, the people who were originally smiling could not help but shed tears. How could they bear to see Future leave? This was their teammate, their partner, their Ultraman. The emotion of reluctance spread in their hearts, but they all knew that this day would come sooner or later, and separation was inevitable. At this time, they did not want to be sad. George forced a smile. "Be happy, my friend." Marina encouraged Future with tears in her eyes. "Do a good job." There were still some tears on Teppany's face. "It's really great to meet you." Zairoheo was already crying, and the tears in his eyes could not stop flowing down. "I will always cheer for you." Old Bird and others also looked at him with a smile and nodded encouragingly. Only Long had a gloomy face and did not speak. Everyone looked at him. He and Future had a good relationship. Now that Future was leaving, he was the most reluctant. Finally, He exhaled heavily, smiled at the future and said, "Go." Perhaps the farewell between men is just as simple as this. Future's eyes swept over the crowd, tears in his eyes, could not stop flowing. He said to guys in a crying voice, "Goodbye. Thank you all for a long time." Future's body radiated particles of light, in the light of the sky, transformed into Ultraman Mebius, and flew away. Looking at Ultraman Mebius flying away, Rose couldn't bear it. Tears burst out, and shouted to Ultraman Mebius, who was flying farther and farther, "Future, arigato. Take care of yourself. Come on. Future, take care. Future, come on." With their blessings, Mebius flew towards the light. Ultraman Mebius in 10 minutes later, the Easter egg will be played. "I'm going to kill you with a knife." The update volume for the 6th volume is 1 chapter per day, mainly because I can't write. It's too damn embarrassing. I'm embarrassed too, right, because there are classmates around me. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 399, Memories of the Future. Tiger and his blue tribe friend Phyllis. What the hell? What do you mean you're going to kill us with a knife? Wrong, it will be played in 10 minutes. Easter egg, Memories of the Future. I suddenly have a bad feeling. Hikari took a deep breath and said, "In fact, you can ignore one thing. That is the huge difference in life expectancy between us people of the Land of Light and the people of Earth. With an average life expectancy of 10,000 years, 100 years is too short for us. It is equivalent to a few months in the human lifespan, or even shorter. So, this is very likely what Mebius will remember about guys 10,000 years later." Hissed Bruce Wayne. "Is this the reason why long-lived species, or even immortal life, are indifferent to emotions?" Loki Odinson, "You're talking nonsense. I've lived for 1500 years, and I'm still fine." Bruce Wayne, "That's mainly because the people around you are all people with the same lifespan as you. Your lifespans are actually about the same, so you won't have this feeling. If you can live for tens of thousands of years, while your brother and your relatives can only live for hundreds of years, or even decades, you will have this feeling." Wanda, "I think Wayne is referring to Dr. Manhattan, not you." Logan, "I have a say in this matter." Logan, "I have lived for hundreds of years. In my memory, I don't know how many friends, comrades, and brothers I have sent away. Although I'm not as indifferent as Dr. Manhattan, I'm more open-minded about life and death than others." Peter Parker, "This is the case, even if you live for hundreds of years, not to mention that it is in units of tens of thousands of years." Peter suddenly realized a very terrifying thing, that is, as the heir of light, not to mention immortality, even if he only has 1% of the lifespan of a normal Ultraman, it will start from hundreds of years. Hikaru lived for more than 20,000 years. He heard that there were many Ultramen who lived for tens of thousands of years, and were still in their prime in the Kingdom of Light. Doesn't that mean that I have to watch Aunt May, Gwen, and Harry die at least? Even watch my own children, grandchildren, and grandchildren? Watching so many people die. When Uncle Ben died, I will never forget that kind of sadness. If I have to endure it again and again in the future. Peter suddenly felt that maybe, in a sense, immortality is not a gift from God for some people, such as himself, but an absolute torture. There must be an immortality drug in the screening room, but can I really get it? I can. As the light, Peter has selfish thoughts. Thanos, that impolar star is really worthy of the name of the Dark Emperor of the universe. For his pride and dignity, he would rather die than hide. Thanos, I didn't say it in a sarcastic way. I really admire that cosmic emperor. Loki Odinson, Humph, in my opinion, this is stupid. Even if he had dodged a little, this battle would not have ended so easily. Thanos, so you can only run away like a bug, Asgardian. But your final action is a hero. Loki Odinson, you. Loki hates it most when people say that he sacrificed himself to save Thor. This will make him look very much in love with Thor. Easter egg, Memories of the Future on air timeline. More than 15,000 years after Mebius left the Earth. In a city, composed of high-rise buildings built of green crystals, countless people from the Kingdom of Light settled here. This is the Kingdom of Light. I saw the Science and Technology Bureau. Hikaru saw the Science and Technology Bureau at a glance, as well as the two researchers who came out to take a walk at the door and served as security guards. Wanda, is this the Kingdom of Light? It's so beautiful, but the color is a bit monotonous. Ace, hahaha, there is no other way. The Kingdom of Light needs to spread the light of the plasma spark tower to the entire planet as much as possible. The buildings of the Kingdom of Light are all made of this special material, because this material has the best reflective effect. So the color is a bit monotonous. Guan, if we count according to our world, you are the first group of Earthlings to see the Kingdom of Light. Ace, look. That is the Ultra Dojo. Guan, do you see the tallest building? That is the Plasma Spark Tower. Hikari and Ace enthusiastically introduced the Kingdom of Light to everyone in the screening room. They have been looking at the Earth. When the perspective came to the Kingdom of Light, the two locals couldn't help but introduce their hometown to their friends. Is this direction? Hikari watched the perspective gradually fly towards a building and said, that should be a warehouse. Ace, I don't remember this warehouse. Guan, it is indeed a warehouse in terms of format. According to the timeline, this should be the Kingdom of Light nearly 20,000 years later. Some changes are normal. The video continues in the warehouse. A young warrior with a small horn on his head, shoulder armor, and a pattern of red, blue, and silver crossed on his body shouted to the sky, "My name is Tiger." In order to release the frustration in his heart, Tiger came to this empty warehouse and shouted, "Because it won't disturb too many people here. You can be angry, but you can't disturb others." The voice cut through the silence and echoed in the dim space. The only people who can hear Tiger's voice here are the old guys in the warehouse and young master. "You're here again." A voice with a hint of bookishness in the sun sounded, and a blue Ultraman walked over from the side of the shelf with a smile on his face. Warehouse manager, Phyllis. In terms of age, he is a little older than Tiger. "Stop calling me young master." "Just kidding." Phyllis covered her mouth quietly, then said, "But don't come here and yell when you are unhappy. In the Land of Light, there are Ultramen of various colors. Compared with the red and silver tribes who are good at fighting, the blue tribe is better at brain work. Here, there is no oppression, skin color momentum, or racism. That is the means used by ZBJ to disintegrate the resistance of WCJJ. In the Land of Light, there is no such thing as dirty pus and blood flowing from every pore from top to bottom." Seeing this, a bunch of American comics and superheroes felt that they were being pointed at and scolded. This warehouse is used to store cultural relics, and important items of great historical significance are densely displayed everywhere. Rabbit is 5,900 years old, and we count according to the year he appeared. Tiger is 4,800 years old, calculated based on the first appearance in the TV series. Xiao Meng's first appearance age is 6,800 years old. Ultra Galaxy is 10,000 years after Mebius TV, and at that time, Xiao Meng was already a 16,800-year-old uncle. Rabbit debuted at 5,900 years old. Tiger TV must have been at least a few hundred years away from Ultra Galaxy. According to rounding, which is indeed not clear to me, Xiao Meng is about 20,000 years old in Tiger TV, and Hikari is 40,000. Probably anyway. Just start. Chapter 400. Tregear becomes a logical genius after seeing Tiger. The Kingdom of Light. The Ultraman had long been accustomed to the flashbacks in the screening room, but the appearance of the child caught their attention. This child looks like Taro. Yes, compared to Taro, when he was a child, they are simply cast in the same mold. The girl who was close to Taro before was from the Blue Tribe, right? Yes, and she is also in the Science and Technology Bureau. Ultraman father stared at Tiger. Although Taro is not married yet, seeing his future grandson made Ultraman father very happy. The one who looked more seriously than Ultraman father was Tarikia. Tarikia looked at Tiger on the screen quietly. Tiger means a courageous person who embraces the sun, and Taro means a person who is full of courage and loves justice. The most important thing is that the nebula particle conversion system he invented was also named by Taro, Tiger Spark. Tarikia recognized the child at the first sight. This is definitely Taro's child. Not only because of the appearance, but more importantly, Tregear was sure that Taro, that idiot, would definitely use the name Taiga for his child. Taro actually gave the name Taiga Spark to his son. Taiga Spark was his own invention, and for a scientist, his invention is equal to his own child. So it can be obtained that Taiga Spark equals Tregear's child. Taiga is Taro's child. So it can be obtained that Taiga Spark equals Taiga equals Taro's child. So Taiga equals Tregear's child equals Taro's child. So it can be proved that Tregear equals Taro. Great. A logical genius was born. Tregear stared at Taiga intently, as if he was looking at his own child's child. But what dissatisfaction would the child have to go to a place where there were not many people and yell? Based on my understanding of Taro, he is definitely a strict father. So is it because Taro is too strict with this child? No, Taro also told me about his childhood. This father and son may be a problem. The video continues. There are some antiques here. Except for Fellas who is in charge of managing this place. Basically no one comes here. In other words, this is an ideal place for Taiga to vent his daily dissatisfaction. If you shout in a crowded place, you will disturb others. Your father is too great, and it is not a completely happy thing for you. Yes. Taiga squatted down and said, my father, Ultraman Taro, this reality is also one of the reasons for my daily dissatisfaction. No, it is better to say that it is basically due to this. My father is the only son of Ultra Father, the captain of the Space Guard, and Ultra Mother, the captain of the Silver Cross. He is also a member of the 6 Ultra Brothers and the top instructor of the Space Guard. He has too many titles to count. So no one is willing to call my name. What they see in their eyes is not me, but my identity as the son of Ultraman Taro. Pucci. Tregear couldn't help but chuckle. As expected, he guessed right. This child has the same troubles as his father. Taro in the past also told him about this. Taiga continued to complain. They treat me inexplicably specially. Even if I have done great things, it is taken for granted. Although I'm indeed Taro's son, I also have my own name. I'm tired of such a name. I come here from time to time because you, Phyllis, can listen to my various complaints. Only you, Phyllis, can treat me as myself. By the way, you have so many things here. Have they increased again? It's a common problem for those with powerful fathers. Tony curled his lips and said, it's normal. It's easy to solve this kind of situation. As long as you prove that you are better than your father, those who say that you rely on your father's cuteness will naturally shut up. Tony understood Taiga's feelings very well. His father was Howard Stark, a top scientist in the last century. As the son of such a person, it is impossible to say that he has no psychological pressure unless he is heartless. The better the father is, the greater the psychological pressure of being a son is, because as long as you don't do well, there will be people who attack you by saying that you are not as good as your father and you have lost your father's face. And what if you do a little better? Those people will maliciously say that you can do all this with the help of your father, and they can do it too. When encountering this situation, there are only 2 choices. 1. Start to show off, and that's it. 2. Make achievements far beyond your father's. If it's not big enough, then make it bigger, bigger, bigger. So big that they are blocked by your achievements and can't utter a word. And Tony chose the second one. The Kingdom of Light. When Seven saw this scene, he suddenly thought about what he would do if he had a son in the future. Although his overall status is not as high as Taro's, it is definitely not a problem to be on the same level as Taro. How should his own children deal with it? And Seven also remembered his childhood. It is said that children take after their parents. Taro has received the best education since he was a child and has always been a role model for his peers. But he was not a good kid when he was a child. It would be bad if his little bastard took advantage of his power to bully others. Seven suddenly made up his mind that if he had a child in the future, he would just let it roam freely in the wild. He would never recognize this child until he really matured. Thinking of this, Seven suddenly laughed. Why worry about it? He is not married yet, so where will the child come from? The video continues. Taiga looked at the cultural relics around him and couldn't help asking, to be honest, I really don't understand why some of these things are so valuable. They are not protected because they are valuable, but because they are carefully preserved, they will become valuable in the future. The value of items varies from person to person. Tiger. Got it. You are only a few decades older than me, but you act like my elder. Looking at Phyllis checking the list and the survival, and writing something on the list from time to time, Tiger couldn't help asking, you are doing the same thing every time I come, don't you get tired of it? And Phyllis's answer was, it is very important to allow the history left by our ancestors to continue into the future. Even if I can't leave mark in history myself, the things I leave behind can become important history, which is of great significance. Is that so? Tiger said, not really understanding, but I still want to leave my name in history, like the legendary Ultraman, Tiger, or something like that. Anyway, one day I will let everyone call me by my name, not Taro's son. I'll leave it to you then, Phyllis. Phyllis answered truthfully, while continuing to work, I'll wait patiently. Tiger looked at a very small capsule in Phyllis's hand and asked, what's in this capsule? Tiger asked casually, and Phyllis, who was never interrupted by anything while working, actually stopped what she was doing for the first time. Phyllis thought for a long time, and finally murmured, maybe I should let you see it. Phyllis showed the small capsule to Tiger. At first glance, Tiger felt that there was nothing in the capsule. Only after a closer look did he find that there was something very small inside. That's guys' sidearm. I'll revise the 4th chapter. The 3rd chapter was banned, and the 4th chapter has a stronger taste. If it doesn't work, I'll write it into a short drama. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.